And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank you for joining me tonight. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere. And I don't know where to start. I guess the first thing would be Hurricane Ian. Hopefully you guys who live in Florida or close by Florida are being safe. Do not take life for granted because the storm surge is real. Them hurricane force winds and tornadoes are real, so please be safe. But there's quite a bit of coverage from the mainstream media about Hurricane Ian. We'll get into that in a minute, of course. Also, Jeffrey Dahmer, the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix series, has had the LGBT tag removed. Why? He was gay and he was attacking gay men, killing and attacking and cannibalizing gay men. So why would a core element of this true story be removed, at least from the category section? We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, shout out to the new Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. A lot of people, a lot of these normie mouth breathers and elitists do not like the fact that she's won. We'll talk about that a little bit more, why they don't like the way and the reason and the fact that she won. Also, Lizzo, your favorite, I guess you would say pop star, not really sure what to call her, went before the Library of Congress and played a flute that had not been played before for 200 years while twerking. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. If you enjoy what you are hearing thus far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give this video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Also, this is a podcast you're listening to right now live, and you can find it on your favorite audio streaming platform the day after. So, for example, today is Wednesday, September 28th, 2022. So tomorrow, Thursday, September 29th, 2022 at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, it'll be available for free on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Google Play, Apple Play, or Apple iTunes, pardon me, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. Link for that will be in the description box, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Also, shout out to all the sponsors. Of course, you guys are the biggest sponsors for watching and sharing and whatever you do. Just for being here, you guys are my biggest sponsors. But shout out to my sponsors. My websites, of course. You got to go to anthonyblogan.com if you have not done so already. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Go to my website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. You can go there and find articles for each video that I produce. So whenever I make a video, I write an article to go with it to cite my sources and to give more information that I may not be able to give on the YouTube page. For example, certain censored videos, certain keywords I may not be able to use for a particular reason. If I can't say it there, if I can't show it there, the website is right there. It's my website. I pay for it. I only make no money on it. It doesn't matter because it's a resource for you guys to get all the information that you need from each video that I produce. Again, anthonyblogan.com. Check it out right now today. Also, go to the contact page on anthonyblogan.com. And there you can find my email address, my snail mail address, my social media accounts, my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. All that good stuff is located right on anthonyblogan.com/contact. Check me out there. Don't send me nothing crazy in the snail mail. I will call the federales on you immediately. And they might do something, or maybe they do nothing. You know, some people did something or did nothing, but different story. I digress. Also, go to ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website. And of course, all these links shall be in the description box right below the video. And if you're on the podcast, there should be some kind of description section somewhere. I'm not sure where it is, but you can go there right now and find all these links. And of course, you can find the beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me over at bhedesigns.com. And you can find more great information that I'm not able to produce on my own website over on the very, very good, the best source of news and information anywhere on the internet, and that's patriotpost.us. And again, all these links shall be in the description. Check them on out. Now, we got quite a few things going on, and thank y'all again for being here. There's quite a few things to discuss. I'm going to talk about Hurricane Ian. I'm going to talk about Netflix and whatnot. Let's talk about the Italian Prime Minister to kick it on off, Giorgia Meloni. Now, and thank you, Apu, who says ABL video on Giorgia Meloni. Bravo, bravissimo. Grazie. So the video about Giorgia Meloni, she has become the new Italian Prime Minister. And the media don't like it one bit. They want to call her the next Mussolini. They're saying that she's a right-wing, crazy person. She's, of course, they got to bring up Trump. The left, they love Trump. I'll tell you what. They say that we on the right, we love Trump and we, quote unquote, worship him. No, these people, they love Trump. Every single time they talk about anything, they're bringing up Trump. They were like, hey, man, it's sure it's rainy day today. I'm sure Trump would not have his umbrella. He would get wet. It's like, what? How did that even connect with what you were talking about? They talk about Trump every 5 to 6 breaths that they breathe every day of the week. It must be exhausting to talk about somebody that much you hate, allegedly. If they hate that man, I can't tell. If hate is a new word for love and admire and revere, then maybe it makes sense. But if hate means that you don't want to talk about him and you don't want him in your life, that's not what's going on with the left and Donald Trump. But I digress. So Giorgia Meloni, they don't like her because she goes against the grain, and she is for some things that you could consider to be kind of basic. Well, I guess maybe you could say basic, but they're not necessarily basic. These are some principles that should be kind of common. They should be things that we all hang our hats on. But of course, in 2022, you can't talk about certain things that she's saying, like being patriotic, being a nationalist, and having an identity. That was one big thing that she said. And pardon me, as I tried to find the clip, I'm kind of looking off to the side right here. But one thing she was talking about was being having national pride and having pride in yourself, but having an identity that's based on, I don't know, maybe being a heterosexual, maybe being a Christian, maybe being a mother or father or wife or husband, a brother, sister, a friend, being Italian. Like, these things should not be, they should not be taboo, but for some reason they are. And it's really crazy, but she was able to win. And the thing about Italy and most of, I would say, definitely Western Europe, but Southern Europe as well. I'm not really sure what you would consider Italy. Is that Western Europe or is it Southern? I'm not really sure, but different story. The thing about a lot of Europe is that they've been under very liberal rule ever since World War II. That was the case with Italy. They were under very leftist liberal rule for a very long time. And now they go in a different direction. And people are mad about that. They're afraid about that. But the biggest issue is that they're being inundated with a bunch of illegal aliens or migrants or whatever they want to call them over there in Italy. They're being inundated with these people and they can't keep up. They can't really keep up with it. It's becoming a serious problem. So now they got to figure out a way to solve it. Now they got to figure out a way to kind of deal with that issue. And one of the biggest ways that they've been able to see is to vote differently, to behave differently, to do different things. If you keep on repeating the same old things over and over and over again, at a certain point, what they say, that's what's the cliche? That's insanity. Repeating the same thing over and over, wanting different results. I know it's kind of a cliche thing to say, but it is what it is. Right? It's very simple. Now I'm gonna play some of this right here. Obviously, this is in Italian. Well, matter of fact, I think I'm gonna find her speaking to CPAC so you can hear it in English. It's more podcast friendly. So this is her speaking to CPAC in 2019 about kind of what's going on. This is obviously before she became the prime minister. This year, 2022. This is about 3 years ago or so. All right, so let's go ahead and put that on screen. Do we have sound? Sound check. Hopefully I don't bust your eardrums out. RIP headphone users in advance.
Unfortunately, the Italian government remains hostage to some of its ideologically left-wing members, and it has adopted a neutral position on the Venezuelan crisis. This is a grave and unacceptable attitude that we have forcefully denounced, because we cannot remain neutral between freedom and tyranny. Never. And And the hearers of Greek and Roman culture should know this better than anyone. My mind goes to Julius Caesar, the tragedy so masterfully told by Shakespeare of the Romans who decided to murder the greatest among them, Caesar, for he had planned to proclaim himself emperor and tyrant and thus betray the values of freedom and the Republic. All of us, Italians, European, Westerns, we are the descendants of that greatness. We should never forget it.
Okay, so that's one thing. Now, I'm not sure what that was about. Was that about Venezuela, like trying to defend them, like putting boots on the ground? Hopefully not. That might have been a bad thing. But there's nationalism speaking right there. That's 2019. Now, here is something for more recent, maybe I suppose. Let's go ahead and put this on the screen right here. And this is in Italian. It says, yes to natural families, no to the LGBT lobby. Yes to sexual identity, no to gender ideology. Yes to the culture of life, no to the abyss of death. No to the violence of Islam. Yes to safer borders, no to mass immigration. Yes to work for our people.
Posibles. O se dice sí, o se dice no. Sí a la familia natural. No a los lobby LGBT. Sí a la identidad sexual. No a la ideología de género. Sí a la cultura de la vida. No al abismo de la muerte. Sí a la universalidad de la cruz. No a la violencia.
Is that her? That might not be her. I'm seeing Spanish flags. Y'all pardon me. I'm kind of messing up. I'm seeing Spanish flags. Is that her? I don't think it is her. Now I have her here speaking because that was Spanish. Let's go to the Italian. How about that? Let's try that one more time. Now, this one, you got to kind of read the subs because this is a little bit longer, but I won't play the entire thing.
Potrei farne tante altre di queste domande. A monte c'è quella che ci facciamo oggi. Perché la famiglia è un nemico? Perché la famiglia fa così paura? C'è una risposta unica per tutte queste domande. Perché ci definisce, perché è la nostra identità. Perché tutto quello che ci definisce in questo tempo è un nemico. Per chi vorrebbe che non avessimo più un'identità e che fossimo solamente schiavi, consumatori perfetti.
So, for the podcast listeners, if you're not watching the screen, she's talking about they trying to make us be perfect consumer slaves. This is a thing that happens over here in the USA as well. They try to make us be consumer slaves, don't know anything, just kind of vote blindly, behave blindly, and do whatever they say, right?
E allora è sotto attacco l'identità nazionale, è sotto attacco l'identità religiosa, è sotto attacco l'identità di genere, è sotto attacco l'identità familiare.
So they're attacking the gender identity, the family identity, all that kind of stuff. Because you got to ask yourself, it's like, all right, what's the purpose behind all this gender confusion, 75 genders? What's the actual reason behind that? Is it because you want to be more inclusive and be more tolerant to trans people and stuff like that? Or is it a intentional thing to confuse people? Because a lot of people that have these kind of issues with their gender have mental problems. As recently as the 70s, if you were transgender or even homosexual, that was considered to be a mental problem. All right. So where are we going with this whole thing where you can say, okay, I have no gender, I'm a space alien, I identify as X, Y, and Z, when in reality, you are a biological XY male, and when you hit 50 years old, it's time for a prostate exam, sir. It's time for a prostate exam. You don't have ovaries, fallopian tubes, eggs, none of that good stuff, okay? You have a prostate, and that jank gets swole up, you're going to be having cancer, point blank, period. But I digress. Let's get back to this particular thing, and then I move right along. And, of course, this video will be on the website. You can find an article relating to Giorgia Meloni, the next Prime Minister of Italy. She's already won, so I guess it's a matter of her being inaugurated and being in office.
Non devo potermi definire italiana, cristiana, donna, madre, no. Io devo essere cittadino X, genere X, genitore 1, genitore 2, devo essere un numero. Perché quando sarò solamente un numero, quando non avrò più un'identità, quando non avrò più radici, beh, allora sarò lo schiavo perfetto in balia della grande speculazione finanziaria.
So, yeah, that right there, that part right there, financial speculators. That's a very key word. That's kind of a spicy term right there. Financial speculators, spicy term. Basically, again, for the podcast listeners, she's saying that why can't I be a Christian, a wife, a mother? Why can't I be that? Why must I just be gender X or person Y? Like, I can't have any identity. All I am is a number to put into a machine for the big banks, essentially. That's kind of what's going on. Now, I won't play that entire thing because for sake of time, again, this would be in the box in the video relating to that. But Giorgia Meloni has become the new prime minister of Italy, and they're not really happy about that. Here's a good meme that kind of explains it, and I'll play it. For you guys that can't see it, it says World Economic Foundation, WEF, finding out Giorgia Meloni won. And this is at the end of the Buffalo Bills game where they ran out of time and the offensive coordinator got triggered and started throwing the iPad and the sheets and the pens and everything else.
They run out of time in the end, and the offensive coordinator, Dorsey. They run out of time in the end, and the offensive coordinator, Dorsey.
Yeah, they don't like that at all. That's why the mainstream media, you know what, I figured it out. The mainstream media, they are employed by, pardon me, World Economic Foundation, big corporations, big banks, big tech to carry out their orders. And the purpose of the media are to brainwash us, to make us think things that aren't true, to make us think things that they would like us to think, to make us think in the way that they want us to behave and believe. That's the whole thing with the mainstream media. That's what they do. That's their purpose at this particular point. So when you have alternative media who don't have those ulterior motives, who can just report the news and be fair and honest and upfront, it's a breath of fresh air. It's like, wow, this is amazing. Because what you're not getting is that fake narrative from people who have been bought and paid for to say a certain thing and not to tell the actual truth. Okay, that's the whole thing. Yeah, that's right, Lancelot. Indoctrination. They're trying to indoctrinate us, but we're not really going for it at all. So yeah, shout out to her. We'll see how it works. I'm hearing different things about Giorgia Meloni. They're saying that she is a globalist and whatnot, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. I like the words she's saying. I like the promises she's making. I like her stance. We'll see how that goes. All right. Oh, and then something else. Shout out to the Babylon Bee yet again for their hilarious parody headlines that are not very far from the truth. I feel like the Babylon Bee would have truthful headlines if the left would be more honest. I feel like in parody, Babylon Bee is more honest than the mainstream media is, which is crazy. All right. So this headline says from Babylon Bee, again, a parody headline, leftists announce they no longer support strong, independent women, and picture of Giorgia Meloni right there. All right. Okay. So that's kind of what's going on with that. Any other time they'd be like, oh, Giorgia Meloni, she's a woman, she's a new prime minister. It'd be a big celebration. But because of her political ideology, it's not a celebration anymore. So maybe, just maybe, some things are more important than your race or your gender and stuff like that. Maybe your ideas and the things you talk about, the things you say are more important than all that. Because again, on the left, if you have a different point of view than them, all this, what is it? All this diversity, and you're a woman and a person of color and LGBTQ element of P, all that doesn't matter if you have quote unquote wrong think. If you think things differently than what they think, then what you think doesn't really make a difference. That's kind of what's going on with that. Right. So yeah, shout out to Babylon Bee for keeping it all the way real, although their parodies are headlines. I mean, their headlines are parodies, pardon me. I'm getting it confused. All right. But yeah, so we'll see how Giorgia Meloni works out. But for right now, I like what she's talking about. And I like the direction that Europe is going in. I think Sweden is doing something different. Italy's doing something different. UK is trying. They had Brexit already. There's a few countries doing different things. Of course, Eastern Europe is always going to be Eastern Europe. They're going to be different. So, you know, that's just one thing. And speaking about Europe and Eastern Europe, what's going on with the pipelines? I'm going to do a video about this, but what's happening with the pipelines? Okay, so Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 both have I guess, perhaps, allegedly been sabotaged. Let me show you the picture of what's going on. First, I'm gonna show you a map of where these pipelines are, so you kind of get an understanding of what's going on. All right. Okay, so now these pipelines carry natural gas, right? If I'm not mistaken. Now they cut through the Baltic Sea, and they're on a sea floor. So you have actual physical metal pipelines on the floor of the ocean, and these pipelines go from like St. Petersburg, Russia, essentially, to Germany. Okay. Now, both of these pipelines were damaged to the point where they can't operate. Now, Nord Stream 2 was not operational yet. It was going to be operational, but it wasn't operational yet. But Nord Stream 1 was operational. It was working, and it was sending essential gas to Germany. Okay, Europe is a cold place. It gets cold in the winter. Winter is it's upon us, right? I'm in Tennessee. It's getting kind of chilly at night. I might need to throw on a little jacket, little hoodie or something like that. 55 degrees is getting kind of chilly. So I know that it's getting cold over in Europe where they're further up north. Okay, so they need that gas. Now, Russia has no reason to actually puncture or to sabotage those lines, because that is their big bargaining chip, that they have natural gas. It's like, look, you want to try to put sanctions on us, or you want to try to attack us, well, we'll cut your gas off, right? We'll cut your gas off. Did I say Sweden? I said Sweden. Bob Bobson. Okay, Bob Bobson, troll name. Anyway, their whole thing is the gas. They've been able to survive the sanctions because they hold the keys to the gas. It's like, look, if you want to not freeze to death Germany, France, etc., then you're going to need to not mess with us. Leave us alone. Don't interfere in Ukraine too much. Don't try to invade us. We're going to cut your gas off. But there's another gas line that just opened, and I think it's going, like, let me go back to the map. So the new gas line opened today. It's going to Denmark. And I think it's like up, coming from Germany up to Denmark, and it goes across north of Germany into Poland. So that just opened today, but Nord 1 and Nord 2 both have been sabotaged, and they are like bubbling up gas into the Baltic Sea. Now, here's what I got to say about that. You know who I think did it? You know who I think did that? Spoiler alert, I think it was the U.S. I can't say that we did it for sure. I don't have the information. This is just my personal opinion. This is just my thought process. This is what I think. And let me find the picture that is going around. It's like a hurricane, kind of. That's the way it looks. But let me find that. Here we go. I think we did it. Now, let me show you a picture, and then I'm going to tell you why. So here's a picture, and you see that this right here, middle of the sea, nothing really around it. There's a disturbance. This is gas coming up, methane gas coming up from the pipelines. Now, why would Germany do this? They need the gas. Russia wouldn't do it. They need the money. There's no other person, no other country that would benefit from this other than the U.S. Maybe NATO as an organization, perhaps. But again, NATO, you're talking about Europe mostly, except for the U.S. Europeans need the gas. Russia needs the money. So why would they do this? Like, the U.S. would do this because it takes away Russia's leverage. And there's another gas line that just opened that Russia is not in control of. It opened today. So who would do that other than the U.S.? And as a matter of fact, I'm going to do a video on this, I think, but I'm going to just show you something right quick. There was someone from over there in, I think, Poland, who was saying, thanks, U.S., and they posted a picture of the actual, quote unquote, disturbance in the Baltic Sea where the gas is leaking. And this person is not just anybody. This is like a government official type person. All right. This is like a government official or somebody that's high up in the food chain, someone that would know or whose opinion you would trust. Let me go ahead and try to find this guy right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, y'all please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. But this person, you would take heed to. You'd be like, yeah, they kind of make sense. Oh, here he is. So this is, I cannot pronounce his name. If you guys are Polish in here, y'all please help me out. Y'all give me a little assist. Radek Sirkowski. And he posted a picture of the disturbance of the gas leak in the Baltic Sea. And he says, thank you, USA. This guy right here, let me just read some of his credentials. Chairman, EU-USA delegation, at Europol EN, VP, Europe, UK Friendship Group, senior fellow at Harvard CES, distinguished statesman, CSIS. So this guy is not just anybody. You have a .eu address. You like a government official, a suit type guy. You know what I mean? You see this guy. If you're in a room with this guy, then you are in an important place. You might not be able to use your cell phone. Ain't gonna be no cell phone in this room with this guy at a meeting, okay? Unless you're at some kind of random restaurant in Europe. If you're in an official meeting with this guy, it's gonna be top secret. So if he's saying, thank you, USA, to the pipeline disturbance, you gotta ask yourself, does he think that we did it? I think that that's probably the prevailing thought process around the world. Now, if we did that, now we're talking about that could be a declaration of war. But there's been quite a few things that we have done that could be considered declarations of war, okay? If we go, like let's say Russia has referendum in Ukraine, and Ukraine, the parts of Ukraine that had a referendum decide to become part of Russia and no longer Ukraine. If we decide to put boots on the ground in these areas that are now considered to be Russia, that's us attacking Russia directly, and it's no longer a proxy war between NATO and Ukraine. Because that's what's happening right now. You see, Putin's trying to draft a bunch of guys, and did you guys see that big long line of Russian men? I think what happened was Russian men between the ages of 18 and 60 are not permitted to leave the country. And if this is incorrect, y'all let me know in the comments. Let me find a video, because there was a big long line of guys trying to go to Georgia, Georgia, Europe, not Georgia, Atlanta. I'm talking about Georgia, Europe. A big long line. I'm talking about guys driving, guys flooding the airport, walking, all of that, trying to leave because they didn't want to get drafted, which it would be the same thing here. It'd be the same thing here because who wants to get drafted, right? It'd be the same exact thing here. So I'm not trying to, hate on Russian guys. I'm just saying that's what's going on. And the reason why there's a big rush to get out is because Putin may see that there could be a bigger fight ahead of him. Because, again, if the U.S. and NATO attack Russian soil after it becomes no longer Ukraine, then that could be provocation upon Russia. Because if we go in there on their territory and test them, they have to respond in kind, because if they don't, then we continue to advance forward into Russia more. So they can't just let it slide. So they know that it could be a big ground war ahead. There could be nuclear weapons involved. So they're trying to get a bunch of guys drafted. So here's a picture right here from an airport. And the caption says, Russian airports in chaos this week, draft age men getting the H out of there. So this is a Russian airport, all men trying to leave, all men trying to escape, trying to go somewhere, maybe try to go to somewhere other than Russia. Maybe they're trying to go to Baltic states, China, who knows, anywhere other than Russia. But a lot of them are going to Armenia, Georgia, Azerbaijan, somewhere. All right. Not too far into the stand places, obviously, but they're trying to leave the Russian Federation. All right. So this is a story right here. Let me see if this shows what I want to show. This is on ABC News. Well, it's on ABC News, but the recount reposted it, and their caption says, with more than 2,300 people arrested in 35 cities, Russian resistance to Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine is growing, and swaths of men are fleeing the country to avoid a military draft.
Crisis brewing for the Kremlin, anger spilling over towards Russia's new military draft, with Putin's war in Ukraine failing. Protesters facing down the police in the Russian Republic of Dagestan. Police officers firing warning shots in the air, attempting to disperse an angry crowd. Women outraged their men are being drafted, questioning the police what the war is for.
So you're seeing burqas and whatnot. This is Russia. Like I said, they're in Dagestan. That's like right on the border of, you're getting into Armenia at that point. So you're getting into the more Islamic part of the world. Iran is like right there, not too far away from this particular place. So yeah, you're going to get some of the hijabs and whatnot out that way.
The chaos in Dagestan clear in these videos circulating online. And in St. Petersburg, officers seen kicking a protester in the head. Human rights activists.
Hey, the military boots hit different when you're in Eastern Europe and you have no USA to run back to. This is what I'm talking about. People talking about how much they hate the United States and the US sucks and there's no freedom. All right, go to Europe, go to China, go to other parts of the world. When that military boot will crash your skull, will connect with your dome piece at the speed of light, you're gonna be crying and praying and wishing you back in the USA. I promise you that. I promise you that. You can go to Paris, France, and London, England for now, but that's gonna fall too because it's so liberal. It's gonna be changed into a third world country. You see it happen right now with Paris, London. So I mean, count your blessings and thank God for the USA.
Activists saying more than 2,300 people have been arrested in 35 cities across Russia in recent days. Long lines at Russia's border with Georgia as huge numbers of Russian men flee the country to avoid the draft. This morning, a sense.
So yeah, it's not a game over there. And I think the reason why he's drafted so many people is because he sees that the war could intensify. They're talking about, oh, well, the war, he's losing the war. I mean, I don't know about all that. That's kind of an opinion. I think that he realizes that it's going to intensify. I mean, it's kind of difficult to really just deal with what you have to not increase your numbers when you get in. How much money have we spent so far in Ukraine? I think I saw a number. I saw a number as far as the amount of money that we spent over in Ukraine, the U.S. directly to Ukraine. And again, it ain't nothing but a proxy war, nothing else. There's no other reason for us to be giving so much money. We're trying to fight Russia indirectly by funding the so-called Ukrainians, whoever they may be, special ops and whatnot, but different story. So I think there was like 61 billion, something like that. Over $60 billion, 60 billion with a B. For what though? And every other day they're giving more and more money. It's not just, okay, one big bill where they're giving out certain kind of money to Ukraine. It's, okay, we're going to give out a billion here, 500 million here, 13 billion here, 200,000 here, all kind of just dumb stuff. And it keeps adding up. And I'm like this, rather than doing all that, just go ahead and say you want to give $100 billion. Go ahead and say there's an endless, or matter of fact, it's a blank check. The finances are going to be endless, right? Joseph says it's more than most states have for the yearly budget. Exactly. Because it's a war effort. We are fighting the war against Russia indirectly. It's called a proxy war. That's all. It ain't nothing about trying to liberate Ukraine and trying to make things easier on them. Because for real, if you wanted to make life easier for Ukrainians, you would stop funding the war. If the war stops being funded, then there's no more war. Yes, Russia would take over parts of Ukraine, perhaps, but that would make for fewer deaths and less destruction and less, of it, the war would be over with. And my thing is, what if you keep spending all this money and you still have the same outcome? Russia still takes Ukraine the same as they were going to do from the beginning. You're just wasting money. Is it a grift? Is it a way for people to get paid? Because that's what I'm thinking about. If you keep spending so much money, you keep spending billions upon billions of dollars. Who's pocketing the money? Where's the money going? I was seeing some of these weapons that should have gone to so-called Ukraine that wound up in the black market in Germany. why does some guy have Stinger missiles in the pawn shop in Germany? For like, how did he get that? You see what I mean? Stuff like that just kind of makes me wonder, like, what are we doing? Well, I know what's going on. It's a proxy war. Shout out to I can't pronounce your name. Vending Media. If I tore it up, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. Blame the white man. But they say greetings from Norway. Shout out to Norway. Shout out to the Nordic countries. Oh yeah, and somebody said Brittany Griner. Yeah, Brittany Griner found out the hard way that Russia is not to be played with. It's funny they're talking about she's a political prisoner. How is Brittany Griner a political prisoner? Brittany Griner is just someone who decided to smoke weed and couldn't leave the habit alone and got caught up at the airport in Russia with weed on her. You know, that's all. You had weed on you. So if you want to stay out of a Russian prison, how about don't bring weed to Russia? Don't bring weed in your bag. Don't bring vape pens. Don't bring hash oil. Oh, and speaking about the pipeline, this is what I was referring to earlier. Okay. I was talking about this earlier. So here's the Baltic gas pipeline from Norway to Poland, right? It cuts through some of the Baltic up like at probably the southwestern part of the Baltic, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, but anyway, here's a pipeline, Europipe 2. Does that go from Germany to, what's up right there? Is that, that's not Finland. Is that, you got Finland over there, Sweden, Denmark. What's that right there? I don't know. It's not Finland. I'm not sure what that is. Probably another part of Sweden. Let me look at the map. Just make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing. Oh, hold on. Oh, that's Norway. Okay, Norway. Right. I'm tripping. So yeah. So the pipe apparently goes from Germany over here to Norway up here, and it cuts through Denmark, south of Sweden, and then it goes into Poland without having to go into Russia. But I still think they're going to need the Russian energy. So I don't think this pipeline, although it's brand new, open today, I don't think that it's going to be able to replace what Nord Stream 1 and 2 were going to bring. And again, Nord Stream 2 wasn't even operational. It was built, but it hadn't gone through yet. Oh, and I almost forgot the biggest piece. The biggest piece to it was about the whole thing with the Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2 being sabotaged. Joe Biden said that if Russia invaded Ukraine, that there'd be no Nord Stream 1 or 2. He said that. Let me find that right quick, and then I'll keep on rocking and rolling here. But he said that, so it's like, okay, did you mean what you said? You know, we take Joe Biden for a joke. We don't believe what he says. But sometimes he'll say things that you need to listen to. Pay him attention, because every now and again he'll say some things that are just he's serious what he's talking about. So here we go. All right. So here's a video from what's this date? February 7th of this year. So early this year, February 7th, 2022. Let's listen to your man Joe Biden speak.
Let me answer the first question first. If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly, since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control?
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
So saying it right there is like, look, if Russia invades Ukraine, there'll be no Nord Stream 2. Well, how are you going to do that? Because Nord Stream 2 is under Germany's control. They're the ones that operate it. So how are you going to tell Germany to not follow through with Nord Stream 2? Don't worry, we'll do it. So was that a threat or a promise? and now he followed through on the promise because he destroyed Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2, or I don't want to say destroyed, sabotage, poked a hole in it, whatever you want to call it. I mean, what's going on? He said it right there on camera earlier this year. Okay, right when 2022 pretty much came about, February this year, February 7th, 2022, he says this. So what's going on? You guys be the judge. I mean, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not making it up. You said it. So you could take it however you want. We could talk about he can go to Germany and ask them to not follow through. He can talk about sanctions to not have the whole thing go through. Or you could talk about some military action. We're going to go blow it up, pop a hole in it, and then it won't work anymore. I don't know. I'm just putting stuff out there. I'm just putting a few numbers on the board and letting you add them to get 2. It's still pretty easy to add 1 + 1 and still get 2. So it shouldn't be that hard for you guys to get the final answer. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Speaking about Joe Biden, I got quite a few videos of this guy, and we all know that he is in decline, serious cognitive decline. We all know that. That's not even up for debate at this point. It's not even, you can't hide it anymore, really. It's so obvious, it's kind of painful. But now we have more video showing his decline. I'm going to put a few things up on the screen. Hold on. 16.9. Okay, so we gave Ukraine 16.9 billion since 2021. That's what they're saying. So a lot of money, too much money. You know, that the money could go somewhere else. But let me continue here. Now here's a video that was pretty crazy. Now Jackie Walorski was a House rep, a Republican from Indiana. She died in a car accident in August. And as a matter of fact, Joe Biden sent his condolences to her family. Again, she died. She's actually deceased, died in a car accident back in August of this year. Joe Biden wished the family that they would be able to grieve, and he wished them condolences in August. So he knows that she's dead because he acknowledged it. But here's what he said today while in Indiana.
And so many of you know so much about this as well, and you're committed. And I want to thank all of you here for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here to help make this.
So he's trying to find Jackie, but Jackie's been dead since August, and you know it because you was sending condolences. You said my condolences, thoughts and prayers. You said that to them. You said it. Like again, it's if he didn't communicate with the family or know who she was or somebody like that, that's one thing. But you actually gave the family condolences, and you knew to look for her, so you know who she is. You know she died. Why are you trying to look for her? His mind's not there, okay? If I knew somebody and I knew them enough to not only look for them, but when they pass away, to contact the family, I'm not going to forget that. That's kind of important, right? If it was just a random person I didn't know and I was told that they died, that's one thing. But yeah, the man's mind is not there. And there's so many excuses for this guy. So many excuses. Oh, well, he just Karine Jean-Pierre, the press secretary, has to jump through hoops for this guy. I mean, ridiculous. Here is what she said when asked about the whole situation with the dead senator, or what was it, a House rep, dead House rep from Indiana.
What happened in the hunger event today? The president appeared to...
Hold on, let me show you the video.
What happened in the hunger event today? The president appeared to look around the room for an audience member, a member of Congress who passed away last month. He seemed to indicate she might be in the room. What happened there?
So the president was, as you all know, you guys were watching today's event, a very important event on food insecurity. The president was naming the congressional champions on this issue and was acknowledging her incredible work.
Acknowledging her? He literally said, "Where's she at? Where's Jackie? Oh, I guess she ain't here." No, she's not here, sir. She's over there. She's not going to be here. She's over there in the upper room. In the great beyond, okay, in the pearly gate. She's not here no more, man. She's in a different life at this particular point in time, all right? In the afterlife, acknowledging her. If that was the case, he would say something like, "May she rest in peace. She was a champion." He would say something like that, not, "Oh, where's she at? I guess she ain't here." That means you thought that she was still living. You forgot the fact that she died. I mean, the guy, but at this point, again, we know that Karine Jean-Pierre, all these people will say anything. They'll say anything to protect this man, Joe Biden. And here's another example of your man, Joe Biden, having serious cognitive decline. So he was at a podium. I guess this might be the White House lawn, if I'm not mistaken. And his handler is right there with him, of course, because she's got to be there. Imagine if she wasn't there. What would he do with himself? So I guess the speech is over with. The event is over with. And he doesn't know what to do. He should just exit the stage and get off, but he's just kind of confused. So he's asking, like, where do I go? And she's pointing and telling him where to go. And he's still like lost, turning around. I mean, the guy's not there. He's not there. He's not there. And the excuses that are made for this guy out of this world, they're out of this world. Oh, well, I don't know. I don't even know what they can say, because they'll say some things like, "Oh, he was just tired," or what can be said about this guy day after day doing stuff like this, day after day after day after day, day after day. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is that Kamala Harris ain't no better. You might want to give her a mental check too, because she was saying some things that also don't make any sense. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the clip that I want to show you guys. As I said in my caption, she makes federal woman sound like James Earl Jones. You're talking about word salad? This is extreme word salad. No croutons, no Caesar dressing, no cheese, no nothing. I'm talking about straight iceberg lettuce out the pack at McDonald's, thrown into a bowl with a dirty spoon. Eat that. Zero nutrition. Let's listen and watch to Miss Kamala Harris talk about something.
Today, the business of our work is for the council to report on the work that has occurred since our last meeting across these areas. We will today also discuss the work yet ahead, the work we must still do to continue to move forward. Today, the business...
Okay. Did you guys understand that? Were you guys able to comprehend what she was saying? It was just a bunch of words that didn't actually go together. I'm gonna hear that one more time to see if I can really just piece it together and make it make sense, because I was having a hard time. I've already heard it one time before. I played it just now and it didn't make sense then. I'm gonna try one more time to make it make sense.
Today, the business of our work is for the council to report on the work that has occurred since our last meeting across these areas. We will today also discuss the work yet ahead, the work we must still do to continue to move forward. Today...
Okay, so I guess that was a long way of saying this meeting is about, we're going to recap what we've done and talk about what we're going to do in the future. But I just don't understand. I feel like that's not even a thing you would say at the podium. You wouldn't even say that at the podium. It was just So again, imagine her becoming the president if your man Joe decides to go back home and just retire. Imagine her becoming the president. It'd be even worse. You're talking about John Fetterwoman. Is that his name? Fetterman? It'd be worse than him. And speaking about Fetterwoman, here is how he sounds. Now you guys tell me who sounds, hold on, if I can find them right quick, give me a second. Who sounds worse between Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Fetterwoman? Let me find a clip right quick. And in the meantime, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And before Fetterwoman, let me get to your girl Kamala Harris one more time. Here's a meme featuring her. Remember the whole thing when they won? We did it, Joe. This is that particular clip superimposed on a Nord Stream 2 and Nord Stream 1 leak.
We did it. We did it, Joe. We did it. We did it, Joe. We did it. We did it, Joe.
That's about right. We did it, Joe. I'm sure you did. I am sure you did. But back to Fetterwoman. Let me find that right quick. Let me keep on rolling here. All right. If I can find that right quick. Oh, I got a lot of videos for you guys. I got a lot of stuff. I might not be able to find Fetterwoman. I might have to. Oh, here we go. John Fetterwoman, same thing. Now, this is the guy running for, I think, Senate in Pennsylvania against Dr. Oz. He had a stroke recently, and he obviously is not well. Now, I'm not going to crack on the man for having a medical episode, but at a certain point, it's like, okay, if you had a stroke, maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't be trying to run for office. Maybe you need to just get well and focus on that rather than trying to be a politician, because you got to be out there and you got to work. So you may not be in the best condition to be able to do that. And you got to give speeches as well. So if you can't speak, how are you going to give speeches?
And you can count on us to eliminate the filibuster. What is wrong with demanding for an easy, safe kind of their income, a path to a safe place for them to win? Send me to Washington, D.C. so I can work with Senator Casey and I can champion the union way of life in in D.C. Abortion is the ballot now in November. Thank you very much, and it's an honor. I live 8 minutes away from here, and when I leave tonight, I got 3 miles away, Dr. Oz in his mansion in New Jersey. You've got a friend and you have an ally. Send me to Washington, D.C. If you come out and step with us, we will be able to stand with you in D.C. And you...
I mean, come on. Like, this guy you can't be. So who sounds worse? Is it him? Now, he has an excuse. He had, at least 1 or 2 strokes recently. He has an excuse for the way he sounds. Now, Kamala Harris, how about her? Has she had any kind of medical episodes that you know of? Or is that just her? That's just how she talks without any kind of medical trauma happening to her. And Joe Biden, we know that there's something going on, but it's not been diagnosed officially and released to the public yet. I'm thinking dementia because he's talking about things that were popular in the 1940s, phonographs and whatnot, right? I'm thinking it's dementia. Maybe a touch of it, maybe some old timers or whatever it is. Again, not trying to rag on anybody that has those things, but at a certain point, you shouldn't be trying to be in public office if you have those things. If you have medical problems, you need to tend to your medical issues rather than trying to be a politician. There should be some kind of requirements aside from just what we have on the books. Like, if you want to be a politician, it should be like getting a driver's license, right? If you can't see, if you're like blind, maybe you shouldn't be able to drive a car. You understand what I'm saying? So if you can't think properly, maybe you shouldn't be a politician. maybe you shouldn't be able to drive your constituents from point A to point B in a figurative sense, speaking about voting and drafting legislation. Maybe you shouldn't be able to do that if you can't even think clearly in your own head. If you can't think clearly for yourself, how are you going to think for me and people that live around me? It doesn't make any sense. So maybe there should be a cognitive test to become a politician. A small one, not nothing too big. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Be able to count a field sobriety test. How about that? Yeah. Oh, and Herschel Walker. They're talking about Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker is just country. Herschel Walker does not have cognitive decline. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't make sense for him because he played football. He'd be CTE. But Herschel Walker is just a country guy. And they've been successful in being able to make this country guy be like retarded. And I'm not trying to use that in a pejorative sense, like I'm saying it. I'm talking about the mainstream media. That's what they've done. And it's come from these black networks mostly trying to joke on his voice, talking about, oh, he sound like they're being kind of racist toward him. I'm not talking about your mainstream media. I'm talking about like Roland Martin and these black organizations. They're being more racist toward Herschel Walker, speaking about the way he sounds, because he has a country voice, country accent. When you listen to him talk, he makes sense. Unlike Federal Woman, unlike Joe Biden, unlike Kamala Harris, okay? Unlike them who are just making up word salad because they have physical problems, mental problems, or just that they're a moron in general. Herschel's not like that. Herschel just has a country accent that they want to make be moronic. But then when you hear a guy who had a stroke, they don't want to make him be any kind of way impaired. They'll say it's not really a problem anymore. You see how they do? The guy had 2 strokes. They would ignore the way he sounds. Herschel Walker has not had a stroke. He's in great shape, great health. But because he's a conservative and a Christian running in Georgia against Raphael Warnock, the pastor who believes in abortion, they want to make him be a moron and something's wrong with his brain because of the way he speaks. It's simple. I saw that from the beginning. I saw what they were going to do. And then, of course, the whole thing about he got all these kids out of wedlock and whatnot, you know what I mean? Secret kids. They want to focus on that rather than what he's saying. So that's pretty much what it is. All right. And we got quite a few things on deck. I ain't even get to everything yet. Let me come back to right here. Let me come back to the chat. Oh, so Lizzo. Gotta talk about Lizzo right quick. Because Lizzo, you guys know who Lizzo is, right? Lizzo is an entertainer, I suppose, who is known for being fat. It is what it is. I'm not really going to sugarcoat that. I'm not trying to quote unquote hate on obese people or fat people or whatever, but that's her shtick. You know, there's quite a few musicians out there. Everybody wants to sing, dance, rap, play an instrument, be in entertainment in some kind of way. Everybody want to be a star. Everybody want to be famous. But what's your angle? What's your shtick, huh? With Lizzo is that she's fat. It is what it is. Nothing. You can't tell me I'm a liar. Call me whatever you want. Call me a fat phobe, transphobe, homophobe, whatever phobe. You cannot call me a liar. Now, Lizzo was given an opportunity to play 200-year-old flute. The flute had been, I think, in the Library of Congress for 200 years, and it hadn't been played before. I think it was a former president's flute. Let me see if I can find whose flute it was. But the flute belonged to the president. It hadn't been played before. It was a beautiful crystal flute. She said it was like playing a wine glass because it was like just glass and crystal. So, James Madison. It belonged to James Madison. It was 200 years old, and it hadn't been played before. So this is just a screenshot, right? So you see what's going on here. That's her practicing at the Library of Congress. Now, at the Library of Congress, she had on clothing, right? Let me see if I can find that particular clip right quick, and then we'll keep on rocking and rolling. But even with the clothing on, she still was like trying to twerk. It was so weird. Hold on. Let me see if I can just pull that up right quick. But my thing is, okay, if you're going to have Lizzo, here we go. if you're going to have Lizzo playing the flute at the Library of Congress, why have her dressed like this? I said it before. This is a modern day minstrel show. They have her out there looking ridiculous, not because they want to just see this clown perform. She has musical talent, but they don't appreciate that as much as they appreciate her humiliating herself. You know, it's like she's going out there making the fool of herself in her appearance, and they're disguising that as somehow revolutionary and brave, but really it's just kind of sad. So this is her right here, wearing clothing like regular street clothes, I guess you would say. And although this is like regular street clothes, she has on like this black top, some black pants, and a pair of like maybe some Converse All-Star or some kind of canvas shoes. I'm still seeing midriff, muffin top action, okay? If it was a cake, it'd be all over the stove. You understand what I'm saying? So that's her playing the flute, Library of Congress, if I'm not mistaken. Now, that's like the little practice, right? That wasn't the actual full performance, okay? That wasn't a full performance. Now, here is a full performance, or some of it. Now, if you got little kids, beware. There's a lot of skin going on. I can't tell what starts what and where what ends. Y'all just be careful, okay? You've been warned. You know how Lizzo dresses when she goes out there. You're talking about a turtle shell at best. A turtle shell at best. And you know how turtles look. They got the shell over the wide body, but the head is out and then the legs are just out. It's a mess. So turtle shell at best, right? Let's go ahead and roll this here. I warned you. I promise I did. So why dress like this? Why dress like if you're going to play the flute, you have talent playing the flute, just play the flute. You see, the woman right there, hadn't heard the flute, is dressed normal, right? This regular black dress, covered up. Even if Lizzo was to wear this kind of dress while being big like that, I wouldn't even trip. But you appear to be like nude right here. You got stuff just everywhere. This is not a flattering look. You look ridiculous. You appear to be a clown. They're making fun of you. You have talent musically. Yes, you can play the flute. You're good at playing the flute. But look at how you look, though. Your appearance does matter. That's why you don't have on the same thing you had on at the Library of Congress. You have on this ridiculous outfit to make you look like a fool. I'm embarrassed for her. I mean, yuck. That's all I can say. It's yuck. So she's going to play the flute right there. But yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool. Hopefully when she gets to be older, she looks back on this and cringes. That's what I hope. I'm cringing right now for her. But I think, you know what's going on here is that she doesn't really care. She don't really care too much because guess what? That check is big. That check is major. That's that Lil Nas X money. You get to be LGBT and kiss dudes on stage for money. That's what it is. We call that a particular thing. There's a word for that, but I won't say it right here because I don't want to get nobody triggered and butthurt and upset, but I digress. The point is that whenever I see Lizzo, I'm upset. And then I look at some of the blogs and they're saying, yay, Lizzo, you go, girl. I'm like, go where? Jenny Craig? Lifetime, Planet Fitness, Weight Watchers, like where's she going? Huh? I'm getting triggered, so I'll move right along. If you like what you're hearing so far, give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. Yeah, and I see the breaking news. Coolio, the rapper, he did die, 59 years old, R.I.P. If you don't know who that is, he had that song. That was a sample. The Fantastic Voyage. I look him up on the YouTubes and find them. Oh, also Gangsta's Paradise. That was a good song. Like in the 90s, I think he was really cracking. So yeah, R.I.P. Coolio. That's just breaking news right now. I saw it come across a thing, and then I Googled it, and it's true. So that's what that is. All right. And what else we got going on? Oh, speaking about Netflix versus the LGBTQ LMNOP community. Now, Netflix, I kind of hate, but I have it because of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like, I didn't have Netflix, and then they came out a new season of JoJo's on there, exclusively, if I'm not mistaken, nowhere else. I'm like, okay, I'm back on Netflix because of one show, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's all I wanted to see. So when I'm on Netflix, just randomly, on downtime, I don't have that much, I'm looking at other shows. Okay, what's on here? I'm right here. I might as well see what else is happening. I try to watch certain little shows on there that it appears to be kind of interesting, but very quickly it becomes LGBT. I said in the video today, I was watching this show called Sandman. It kind of looked like high fantasy and a little bit of action adventure. I'm like, okay, cool. Very quickly it becomes completely drenched in LGBT stuff. I'm talking about, you got just, it's to the point where it's so much LGBT, it's like gratuitous. It's like, what am I watching here? Is this porn? Like, what is this? You see what I'm saying? It's just like way too much. So I got to put it down. And then, of course, the Umbrella Academy, I saw some of that. And, you know, in the Umbrella Academy, they have Elliot or Ellen Page, whatever they, Zemzir, her, him, he, whatever they go by, right? So, of course, that's drenched in LGBTQ stuff as well. Anything that you can click on Netflix, if it's American especially, it's going to be completely it's going to be inundated with LGBTQ stuff. Completely. Japanese stuff, no. Korean, no. European, not so much. Other countries, not so much. USA, yes, 100% LGBT. So there's going to be quite a few shows that have the tag LGBT because the content is in there. Now, Jeffrey Dahmer, the serial killer, is featured in a brand new series called Dahmer about him. Now, if you don't know about Jeffrey Dahmer, okay, let's not do that, phone. Let's not do that, interrupt my show. But if you don't know about Jeffrey Dahmer, he was a serial killer back in the 70s to early 90s. And he was gay. And him being gay is important to the story because what he was doing as a serial killer was luring gay men, mostly black gay men, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, let me know. He was luring gay men and boys back to his apartment where he would kill them and eat them. And sometimes he would violate their body in a sexual way after they were dead. Necrophilia, okay? He killed 17 men this way. So, of course, him being gay was a big part of the thing. I've not seen the series, but I heard there's a kissing scene with him between him and the man. So his sexuality is important. He's the main character. Obviously, he's a serial killer. He's gay. He's luring gay men to his house for sex, ends up killing them, eating them. So him being gay is central to the story. So, of course, Netflix has LGBT as part of the category list. Ominous, thriller, horror, true crime, LGBTQ. But guess what happened? The LGBTQ element of PXYZ squad say, hey, wait a minute. We don't want to have this linked to us. So take that off of there. Take the LGBTQ tag off of Jeffrey Dahmer. And Netflix relented and said, all right, cool. We'll take it off of there. but it's on everything else on the platform. Again, American stuff is going to be inundated with LGBT. Inundated. That's what I was asking. I was asking on Twitter. I was like, is there any modern TV show that's not completely soaked in LGBTQ stuff? Going back to the whole Sandman thing, right? It's like Angels and Demons. The main character is like the master of the dream world, right? High fantasy. You talking about gargoyles and goblins and angels, demons, heaven, hell, everything, right? High fantasy, Harry Potter. But then one episode after it's like a minefield of stuff to get to this episode. One episode featured a drag queen show. Some big Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Razor Ramon, Mr. Perfect, chest hair is crazy. You know what I'm saying? In the dress, muscles and everything on stage prancing around. You go from Harry Potter to Harry Knuckles immediately. I'm like, yo, this is too much. I can't do nothing with it. You got to put it over there and just let it sit on ice. For that platform to have so much LGBTQ content, why relent on this? Is it because you wouldn't have the LGBTQ label on things that make you look good? Why? Why not everything? Take the good with the bad. For example, like I said in the video, there may be a black label. Okay, African American, black African, whatever you want to call it. Things that feature black people, black stories, whatever. Okay, so Blade, for example, it's a Marvel movie, high fantasy. It'll have those categories, but also maybe black because of Blade, the main character, Wesley Snipes, he's black. All right, or a better example, some of these black movies, The Wood, Dead Presidents, Love Jones, Baby Boy. You put the black label on that. Coming to America. You put the black label on that, right? There's a black cast, it's a black story, it's black, it's culturally black, whatever. But also, what else is going to be black? What else would be black aside from Blade, aside from Coming to America, aside from Eddie Murphy Delirious? What else could be considered a black movie? I don't know. Amistad, 12 Years a Slave, Django Unchained. What are those about? Slavery? Is that a positive thing? Is that a positive thing to be linked to, slavery? No, it's not. But guess what? It's all part of the experience. It's all part of it. You take the good with the bad, right? But LGBTs, oh, we don't want to be linked to Jeffrey Dahmer or John Wayne Gacy or anybody like that because it makes us look bad. Oh, okay, cool. Funny how that works. But any other time, you want to be in everything. You want to be in children's books. You want to be doing drag queen story time. You want to be talking about making Wizard of Oz gay. Oh, yeah. The Wizard of Oz. How are you going to make that gay? But you're going to have the dog be gay. You're going to have the girl. What was Alice? Was it Alice? Wonderland? I don't know what I'm thinking about. You're going to have the Cowardly Lion be gay. Instead of being cowardly, he's just gay. He's just flamboyant. Is he going to be dancing in the drag show? How are you going to make these children's stories gay? You're going to put the LGBTQ sauce, and no pun intended, please pardon me. You're going to sprinkle the LGBTQ stuff on everything except for things that actually happen that are negative. Jeffrey Dahmer existed. I remember the whole story because I was a young man. I was like probably about middle school, almost elementary school when he got locked up. He got killed in prison. Shout out to the guy that killed him. He got killed in prison in 1994. And to talk about that right quick, the guy who killed him said that the reason, well, before I get to the reason, he said that Dahmer would be in prison cutting his food into shapes of body parts and putting ketchup on it to symbolize blood. Like he was just nasty. Like he would cut his French fries or hamburger or whatever into arms, legs, heads, and put ketchup on it for blood. Nasty dude. And the guy who killed him carried around a news clipping of what he did. And the guy who killed him was in jail for murder too. So I think what happened in the story was, according to the guy that killed him, I mean, I'm taking his word for it at this point, but they were assigned to clean the bathrooms or something, or the showers. It was the killer, the guy who killed Dahmer, and then another inmate. So the guy had turned his back to get a mop handle, and the other inmate and Dahmer were behind him, and they poked his back. Just poked him in the back, like with their hand or their finger or something like that. So the guy turns around, looks him in the eyes, and he can't tell who has done it, but they both kind of like laughing under their breath, like trying to mock him. So then at this point, the guy confronts Dahmer and shows him the news clipping that he had in his pocket the whole time. And it's like, hey, man, did you do this? Is this your work? And I think at this point, Dahmer was trying to escape and trying to resist, but he took either the mop handle or his boot or something and cracked Dahmer in the skull and crushed his skull. Killed him right there. The other inmate comes in, he kills him too. So yeah, Dahmer got murked in the penitentiary and he deserved it. And that should have been the automatic rope sentence right there. I mean, this guy was disgusting. Jeffrey Dahmer, that should have been a firing squad or rope, electric chair immediately. As soon as they were bringing out bats of acid from his apartment, oh, nah, you get killed right there. Kill you right on the spot. Matter of fact, push you in the bed of acid. How about that? But again, I'm getting triggered, so I digress. The whole point is, yeah, you're right about that, Glenn T. You smash his head in with the broom handle. Smash his head in. Boom. A brutal death, but he deserved it. He deserved that broom handle smashing. And if it was a slow death, he deserved it because what he did to those men and the boys. That was a whole big story, though. I've not seen that series, but I knew it would be popular when it came out because people like those kind of true crime stories. They like serial killers. And a lot of people are attracted to these kind of guys. I saw one guy, a black guy on Twitter. I won't say who it was. It wasn't a popular person. It's a random normie. The guy was like, that picture, the mugshot is doing something to me. Like he liked how he looked in the mugshot. He was attracted to him. It's like, see right there, that's how your community members run up on a man's dinner plate night after night. You like the way you look, you go home with him, and you end up dead on his plate. So the moral of that story is be careful out here dating. You never know who you're dealing with. Be armed. If you're gonna be at somebody's crib, bring a gun with you. Bring something with you, because you don't want to end up in nobody's refrigerator or nothing like that. Okay, but I'll move on. A 14-year-old, did he kill the 14-year-old? I thought it was just he assaulted him. I don't know all the details, but either way, like I said, he deserved to get the ultimate punishment for the things that he did, and he did wind up getting that punishment in prison, 1994, after he got locked up. He got that punishment. Oh, yes, he did. But I thought it was common knowledge that Jeffrey Dahmer did that, like the cannibalism and stuff. But I guess his crimes happened kind of early. So if you're like 20 years old now, you weren't even born when he got locked up. You weren't even born when he got killed in the penitentiary. You were still just a memory, not a memory, but you weren't even really a thought process yet. You were just still kind of cooking. You hadn't been all the way baked out the oven yet, right? All right. So that's kind of what that is. But we got a whole lot going on here. Now, okay. Oh, Hurricane Ian. Have you guys seen the coverage about Hurricane Ian? Hurricane Ian is bearing down on Florida right now. Is it a cat? What was it? A cat 3, cat 4, cat 5? You know, the category, from my experience, doesn't really matter as much as the storm surge, where the hurricane makes landfall. That's really the main thing. That storm surge is serious. Like a storm surge, what happens is, I think, is mostly the wind pushes water on shore. And let's say you are 3 feet above sea level for your whole community in Florida. You're a low-lying place. Let's say your whole neighborhood, your whole community, your whole city is 3 feet above sea level at the most. Maybe 5 feet, 6 feet above sea level. If the storm surge is 9 feet, you're going to be inundated with water. It's going to be everywhere. You're not, you're not really going to be, you're going to pretty much toast. Is it a cat 3 or is it a cat 4? Okay. I was wondering what you were talking about. 4. So it's a cat 4. Yeah. So basically, that storm surge is serious. If you are 3 feet above sea level and the surge is 10 feet, you're done. You're toast. You're going to be drowning in water. The flood is going to be catastrophic. Okay. And then also the winds, hurricane force winds, and you're going to have tornadoes plus thunderstorms. Okay. So a tornado, that's just an isolated thing from having a storm. So a hurricane is a real big storm. And in storms in general, aside from a hurricane, you have the ability to have tornadoes. The hook, echo, all that kind of stuff. When you have those, you have tornadoes. So around the eye, especially, tornadoes, thunderstorms, plus the high wind from the storm, aside from tornadoes. And the storm surge and rain. So if the storm surge don't get you just from the wind pushing the water from the ocean on shore, the rain to get you, because if the storm moving kind of slow, it'll keep raining. That'll flood you out. Plus the thunderstorms, setting structures on fire, ain't gonna be no power for a while. It could be very damaging. Hurricane Andrew, oh man, I remember that back in the 90s, like 1992. That was devastating. It flattened Miami, flattened it. It was crazy back then. Hurricane Andrew was like a talk. Even in VA, Hurricane Andrew was like, it was something. It was like the standard bearer for terrible hurricanes. Hurricanes that destroy whole communities. Hurricane Andrew was that. So when you got guys like Don Lemon talking about, oh, well, hurricanes are getting stronger and more intense. Oh, really? Is that so? Because Andrew was 1992. That was a devastating hurricane. Katrina was 05. That was devastating. I lived through Hurricane Isabel in Virginia back in the day, back in 02, 03. That was a bad one. I was in a few hurricanes in Virginia because we're right there on the coast. I think the Outer Banks was formed by a hurricane in North Carolina because if you could see it. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you the Outer Banks. Well, just North Carolina. Just a map right quick. Just to show you kind of where I was and also how also where a lot of hurricanes go. So here's a map. So now I grew up in this little area right here. Okay. In Hampton Roads, that area. And right down south, you have North Carolina. You have the Outer Banks, these barrier islands right here. And you see kind of the way it kind of goes in. I think that has been by a lot of hurricanes and winds and whatnot by being right there on the coast. Okay. And also, let's look right here. In this place called Willoughby Spit. I think it's up here. Yeah, Willoughby Spit. This was formed by a hurricane back in the day. So this part right here, this is Norfolk. And this is the HRBT, Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. This was formed by a hurricane. Long time ago, before the proliferation of fossil fuel emitting vehicles, carbon emitting vehicles. A lot of what we know today geographically was formed by natural disasters, natural just events, weather events like hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, fire, etc. That's just what that was. Not Tyra Banks, the Outer Banks. All right. So those islands are like barrier islands, and they always get crushed by a hurricane. Whenever a hurricane even comes close to Virginia or North Carolina, OBX, if you live in no OBX, forget about it. You're going to be underwater. If you guys saw that video of the house collapsing into the water that was on stilts, that probably was on Outer Banks. That's kind of how it is out there. Those little small roads and just weird construction. But anyway, so my point is that you always have hurricanes. You always have natural disasters. And it's been like that since the beginning of time, since the beginning of Earth, really. It's always been that way. It's not anything new. So when you say this is like some kind of brand new thing and climate change is the reason why it's happening, it's kind of ridiculous. Now, let me see if I can find the video I was talking about where your man was referring to climate change and it got shut down by a scientist almost immediately. Let me find it right quick. Here we go. So your man Don Lemon's getting shut down on the show constantly. Almost every week now it's getting shut down on the show. I mean, is it on purpose? Are they setting them up, make them look bad so they can cancel the show? I don't know what's going on. Because it's already canceled, so why make him look bad? Maybe he's just, I don't know what's happening with your man Don Lemon, but let's check it out right quick.
Can you tell us what this is and what effect the climate change has on this phenomenon?
Well, we can come back and talk about climate change at a later time. I want to focus on the here and now.
So the guy's not interested in the climate change discussion. Lemon's like, yo, let's talk about climate change and how it affects this hurricane right now. But the guy's like, look, let's save that for a different day and focus on the here and now. Focus on right now what's going on with this hurricane and what it's doing. You see how big this hurricane is? Okay, you see the eye right there, the little dot? That's the center. That's the most intense part of the storm. Well, the eye is actually clear. If you're in the eye, if you're inside the eye of the storm, it's clear. There's nothing going on. It's just, there's no storm right there. But immediately on the eye wall is the most intense part of the storm. And as you go further and further out, it gets weaker. And these right here, what we call the outer bands, that's all the rain and wind and whatnot that the storm will create. I'm feeling some of the outer bands right now in Tennessee. That's how big it is. Okay. I'm about 90 minutes from Atlanta and I'm feeling outer bands right now. Some of the a little bit of a wind pickup. Let's continue here.
We think the rapid intensification is probably almost done. There could be a little bit more intensification as it's still over the warm waters of the eastern Gulf of Mexico, but I don't think we're going to get any more rapid intensification. If you look here, you can actually see, pretty interesting for your viewers, you can actually see a second eye wall forming around the inner eye wall, and that's basically the second eye wall has overtaken the original eye wall, and that should arrest development.
So listen, I'm just trying to get that. You said you want to talk about climate change, but what effect does climate change have on this phenomenon that is happening now? Because it seems these storms are intensifying. That's the question here.
I don't think you can link climate change to any one event.
Okay.
On the whole, on the cumulative, climate change may be making storms worse, but to link it to any one event, I would caution against that.
Okay. Well, listen, I grew up there, and these storms are intensifying. Something is causing them to intensify.
But why argue with this man? Why argue? What's the point? It's like you have the NOAA guy, a scientist, right? He is a professional. You have him. He's in the actual place discussing what's going on. He is a trained expert. He knows what he's talking about. This guy's a director. He's an acting director of the NOAA National Hurricane Center. So his life's work is hurricanes, weather events, things like this. This is what he does for a living, obviously. He's the acting director of the NOAA National Hurricane Center. This is what he does. So Don Lemon, I don't think has the credentials to even talk to this guy at all, going back and forth, trying to challenge him on climate change. I don't think he has those kind of credentials, all right? Not really. Oh, yeah, I'm from there. It's getting worse. Were you alive during the hurricane? You were alive during Hurricane Andrew, Don Lemon. You're older than I am. You're 52, 50, something like that. You're in your 50s right now. If you're from Florida, you remember Hurricane Andrew and some of the other ones that came about like in 2010, 2012. You were alive at that time. You were around at that time. Matter of fact, you might have been in news at that point covering Hurricane Andrew. Okay? 1992, you probably were at WXYZ station in Podonkville, USA, covering the hurricane. So why play games like this, sir? Anyway, I digress. There's not much more there. They're just talking about the hurricanes and what's happening. But yeah, if you are in the line of the hurricane, please be safe. Don't try to be a superhero. I evacuated a hurricane, I think, once or twice from Virginia. Now, one time I left for a hurricane and came back, it was nothing there. It was like a puddle in front of my house, like literally a puddle. It was nothing, no damage. But one time I didn't leave. We got hit real bad, but it wasn't a lot of damage. Well, it was some damage. So at the time, I'm at my mom's house at the time. Mom has a townhouse, and you know those little rooms in front of these townhouses? It's like a sunroom, I guess you would say, and a little small roof that's right there with the little. If you go outside, it's like how can I describe it? I don't want to show my neighborhood, but it's like a little small roof type thing inside the house, like a little sunroom's right there. So it was raining so much. water was getting inside a little roof part outside, and it caused that to collapse inside the house, that little piece of the ceiling to collapse. So it was a table right there, and we saw it starting to sag. So we took the table out the way. It was like a little light table. It was nothing. But as soon as I moved that table out the way, the ceiling collapsed right there in that particular spot. Now, luckily, it wasn't at that point just raining a torrential downpour. It was just kind of a light drizzle, and the outside structure was still sound. So we didn't have water just pouring in the house. It was a water splash that hit down from the water that had been leaking in that was trapped up in the ceiling. But after that particular water came out, it was fine. It was a small leak, and that was it. But yeah, after that hurricane, I think that's when we had lost power for a couple of days. But in the area, see, we had luck. We were right on the hospital grid, so we were able to get our power back on pretty quick. Because if you're on a hospital grid, that has priority because you got patients that need that. You got EKGs, you got all kind of life-saving devices and people on ventilators. You got to have that particular power back up and running immediately. But if you lived in Portsmouth or far away, Williamsburg somewhere, you did not have power for months. I'm talking about months. I know my dad was in at the time in Portsmouth. He had no power for about 2 months, if I'm not mistaken. At least a month, no power. You're talking about guys were leaving, like just leaving the state for a long time. Or if you still stayed there, you were using the grill to eat food. It was a mess. It was a complete mess for a long time after that hurricane. So hopefully everybody in Florida is going to be nice and safe right now. And if you're able to leave, please do so, because you might have to leave later because there might not be no power for a while. And I'm telling you, to not have power for 2 months, it's rough. You know, if you're living in the mountains or you're a mountain man or something like that, you'd be all right. But if you like creature comforts, if you like, I don't know, air conditioning, heat, being able to cook, things like that, you're going to miss having your power. All right. So let's go ahead and keep rocking here with Super Chats. And then we get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. We'll get to that in just a few. But first, Super Chats on deck. We'll get to those. And then we'll keep rocking and rolling here. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That helped me out tremendously. All right, give me 1 second here to get myself together. And we will get right back on it. And today is the 28th. All righty. Shout out to Lancelot, who says, ABL, stay safe from Hurricane Ian. And very much thank you for that. I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm good up here. See, I like living. Somebody says Grady Hospital in ATL, Georgia is cool with the side-eye emojis. You know, Grady got a big endowment, I guess you would say, or a grant, because they closed down a different hospital. So they're going to add more to Grady. You know, it is what it is. Shout out to Grady. But let's continue here. Thank you to Lancelot as well for the other donations with no message. Apple says, FBI rated pro-life husband father of 7 children. I saw that. Now, I don't know why he got raided. I saw that he got raided, but I don't know why he got raided. Also, he was accused of assaulting a pro-choice person. That person was verbally abusing his son. He pushed. Case was thrown out of criminal and civil court, but DOJ indicted pro-life man under FACE Act. So if the case is thrown out of court, criminal court and civil court, why did the DOJ pick it up? It doesn't make any sense. If it was not enough for the lower court to prosecute at all, why would the DOJ pick it up? This is called prosecutorial misconduct. They're trying to attack him because of political things. This is what I'm talking about right here. I'm not against the federales necessarily, but I think they're being used. Well, I know they're being used to push forward a political agenda. They have a true purpose to protect us from serious threats, domestic, foreign. But why are you trying to attack guys that pose no threat? If the case was thrown out of criminal court and civil court in the U.S., then why are you trying to indict them in the DOJ? It doesn't make any sense. Again, prosecutorial misconduct. Also, Apple says, disgusting, FBI raided home with small children. Every FBI agent should be arrested for kidnapping. Defund, dismantle, demolish FBI, every agent, disgrace. Also, God bless J6 MAGA patriots in D.C. jail solitary. Also, he asked me, ABL, best Tom Cruise movie, Top Gun, Days of Thunder, I guess that is. I don't actually know a lot of Tom Cruise movies. The one that I saw most recently that I liked was, what was that, Oblivion? I like that movie, actually. Let me make sure I'm talking about the right one. Yeah, Oblivion. That was a great movie. I like sci-fi, high fantasy, that kind of stuff. I thought it was a good movie. Was it like the best movie ever? No, but I enjoyed it. And Tom Cruise was in it. I don't know what else he's been in. The one with Cuba Gooding Jr. with Jerry Maguire, that was cool. Back in the day. But beyond that, I'm not sure what else I've seen with him in it. You know, I can't really say that I'm a big Tom Cruise fan. I've not seen Top Gun Maverick yet. I want to see that for sure. Mission Impossible, those are good movies. Eyes Wide Shut, that's a whole different ball of wax right there. We don't want to get into that right now on the stream, but Eyes Wide Shut was real as it get. And I digress. I promise I do. I'm looking at movies right now. Let me see. Jerry Maguire, The Firm, A Few Good Men. Oh yeah, A Few Good Men. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, definitely A Few Good Men for sure. The Last Samurai. I don't know about that one. And If You Were the Vampire. No, they remade that, if I'm not mistaken. Was that a book or was that a movie from a book? I'm not really sure what that was. Yeah, but definitely Oblivion. That was my personal favorite that he was in because I like sci-fi. The other ones were good, of course. Eyes Wide Shut. Minority Report is also good. That was a good one. Minority Report. I really enjoyed that one. Minority Report was a documentary. That was a whole expose on the federal government. Oh man. That was a documentary. That's what that was. All right. But the best moment was when he was on Oprah, hopped on that couch. Oh man, that was it's like, sir, what are you doing on the couch? That was a crazy moment. It wasn't a movie, obviously. That was just a moment. He was on Oprah, hopped on the couch. Yeah, but that was a mess. But yeah, definitely A Few Good Men, Mission Impossible, of course, Minority Report, all of those. All right. Okay. Super chats, let's get back to him. Also, ABL video on Giorgia Meloni, Bravo, Bravissimo. Thank you to Byron8899 who says, what's your view on Edward Snowden granted Russian citizenship? Is it a good, bad, ugly? I mean, that's fine. I don't really see an issue with it. If they want to do that, that's not really a big deal to me. I don't see, that's fine. Thank you to Jeff Gray who says, getting closer to the 1 million sub count, big dog. He put the grind, ABL. Much love from behind enemy lines here in California. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. We'll get there soon enough. We right there. We right on the edge. So I'm going to keep on doing my thing. We'll get there soon enough. Apple also says, you like spicy Tabasco sauce, horseradish, chili. As far as things that are spicy, like Tabasco sauce is cool. Chili, like chili powder. Like I like cayenne pepper. Like I like spicy seafood, like a seafood boil. Put some of that good cayenne pepper in there. Yeah, I'm good to go. I'm good money on that one for sure. That gets Michael who said happy belated birthday. I appreciate you for that, man. Most certainly. Apple also says, ABO, when you get 1 million subscribers, how about an ABO meet and greet, ribs and chicken wings, lemonade, peach pie. You can spin tunes, dance party. We'll do something for the 1 million subs. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, but we'll do something for the 1 million subs for sure. And if I was to do a meet and greet, where should I do it? What city should I do a meet and greet at? You know, I know there might want to be a tour, but if I could pick one place for a meet and greet, in the country, in the USA, where would it be? That's a question for you guys. I don't want to say where I would want to have it because I don't want to influence. I want to see what the chat says, what you guys think should be the city that I do a meet and greet. Thank you to, I can't pronounce your name. Triage 716, who says, much love, ABL. We're still a ways, but I can't wait to see you in No Shave November. LOL. Keep on driving the truth train, my brother. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Apple also said, shout out to F Ranger Xbox. We hope he's better. Thank you to Comrade Kim SD, who says, I'm a U.S. Army veteran and I'm not fighting a war with Joe Biden as our leader. Plus, we know this is all a complete disaster. If no citizens go, we win. Right on. Thank you for that. I'm reading some of the comments here. Nashville, Cleveland, Chicago, somewhere in Tennessee. Some pot, Germanic Spaniard says. Memphis. Oh, okay, Memphis. Give me bulletproof vest. I might go out there. Kansas City, middle of the country. Virginia Beach. ATL. It could be ATL, just not in ATL, outside the perimeter. No, we're not going to Midtown having a meet and greet. I ain't trying to have the LGBTQs roll up on me. These big 6'8" drag queens, built like they play basketball overseas. Anyway, the Bronx, Vegas again, Virginia Beach, Mar-a-Lago, ATL, the gas station at midnight. No way. Again, I need bulletproof vest, Kevlar helmet. Martha's Vineyard, yes, Martha's Vineyard. How about that? I keep on here. We got calls to get to in a minute. Thank you to Not Provided, who says, I had a former landlord who forced me to leave without notice, alleging that I was the threat to her family because of my autism, without me even having done anything. I wanted to ask you and your audience, how'd you feel? Well, how I feel is really irrelevant. I can tell you how I feel. I would feel like I'm being discriminated against, but I wouldn't even be concerned with my feelings. I'd be like, okay, do I have a case here? Okay, if I was forced to leave, did I have a lease? Did I have a contract? That's what I'm talking about right there. I'm talking about trying to get some money. I'm suing. If it was legitimate and I was forced to leave for an illegitimate reason, my feelings come secondary to my money. Forget all the other stuff. I think it's Roger Wood who says, didn't walk diagonally because once in the car lot today. Well, I'm glad you walked straight ahead. Them diagonal walkers is like, sir, you're taking too long to get from point A to point B. Walk straight ahead. How about that? You're taking about 15 minutes to get from the curb to the parking lot. Roger Wood, I read that one. Thank you to Clamum, who says, ABL, were you ever able to attack? I'm going to get you on that. Thank you to Monroe Doctrine, who says, did you see Vegas bomber escape prison on Friday? I did not see that. Thank you to Michael, who says, can we get a video about Caleb McLaughlin of, quote, Stranger Things, unquote, calling on his own fans racist? Victimhood mentality was instilled in him by his parents. I've not heard about that. F Ranger Xbox says 648 breastfeeding babies harmed by vax. Mama 3 died or 3 moms died. Not sure what you mean by that one. Thank you to Jay, who says he shut Don down the way the dude at the bar shut him down. Hilarious. And thank you to Madtown Mo, who says RIP Coolio. Unifier TV says, don't forget about Collateral. That was good too. Right on. Thank you to Tam, who says, the person that said Chicago, laughing at him. Thank you to Atomic Tabasco, who says ABL, Mardi Gras. All righty. So time for the calls. You guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling here. There's also a Skype email in the description box. If Skype doesn't work right, it's not my fault. You know who to blame, and it's not me. So blame him. All righty. Let's go ahead and get cracking. I'm reading some of the other cities here as well. Oh, and I forgot the number to call. There it is, 434-658-1220. 434-658-1220. 860, you're the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's F&A Ranger Xbox. How you doing, brother?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Oh, what I meant by on WMD website, they had 648 babies were harmed by breastfeeding by vaccinated mothers. 3 of the babies died.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Blood clots. So, I can't afford much these days thanks to the Democrats and their, Inflation Reduction Act. I don't know whose inflation it's reducing, but it sure isn't mine.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why they want to play with Russia the way they're playing, because Russians don't play, but there's not a draft in Russia right now. All they're doing is calling up 300,000 reservists. But
oh, okay, I see.
But yeah, I know the liberal media lies. I mean, ever since Obama signed the Mundt-Smith Act into law in 2012, it was hidden inside another bill. It allows the media, for the first time in U.S. history, to be used for propaganda purposes, which was totally illegal before then. But, oh, God. What I wanted to talk about was digital currency.
Okay.
And people, I don't care if you vote Democrat. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care what. But listen to this. These people in our government do not have our best interests at heart. They're sending $1.6 billion to Ukraine every month. President of Ukraine just bought an $8 million villa and 3 cars for his parents. So a group affiliated with George Soros just got $41 million through the Department of Justice to help illegal aliens not be deported.
That's crazy.
It seems like our government, I'm sorry. It seems like our government is helping everybody except who they're supposed to be.
Of course.
The Americans. So with that in mind, the way they did Social Security was not supposed to be taxed. They didn't even start stealing that money till I was an 8-year-old child or 7-year-old child in 1968. And I distinctly remember because I heard it on TV while watching the Vietnam War. And they said, well, we're going to start borrowing money from Social Security. And as a 7-year-old boy, I knew that was wrong. And then Joe Biden is the one that made Social Security be taxed, which it was never supposed to be taxed, at 50%. And then he upped it to 80%. So with the history of our government, why in the world would you want to have a digital currency like they got in China now? Because when you go to work and you get a job, they hold back a week or 2 pay, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so the money you got in the bank, you earn that. That is a measure of your labor. What is slavery? The theft of your labor. Right?
Yeah.
Slavery is the theft of your labor. So you got money that you earned. You already gave the labor away. Now it's a digital currency. And if they don't like your political commentary or you make a joke that they don't like, they can shut it off, making you a slave. So I don't care what party you subscribe to, but you don't want to subscribe to that because there's several million people in China that don't have access to the money they're supposed to have in the bank right now. There's riots and protests going on all over China about shutdowns and more, mortgages for apartments that aren't even built, just sitting there laying in ruins and all sorts. It's a big mess that you don't hear on American media because they're propaganda. They're not there to tell the truth. And that's all I got, brother. What do you think about that?
Well, there's a lot there, man. You pretty much said it pretty well, better than I can say it. So I appreciate the call, man, as always.
All right. Yep. God bless. And yeah, I was just having an asthma attack. I do feel better. Thank you for your kind words. And God bless America. Let's try and get our country back for all Americans, red, white, and blue.
Right on, man. Thank you for your call.
Take care.
Thank you. All right. Great call. And thank you all for being here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. What's speaker to 717?
Hey, ABL. This is Evan from Vegas. Just calling just to tell you about the story about the Vegas bomber that escaped prison here in town.
Okay.
So basically, Friday afternoon, I guess there was an inside job, is what everyone thinks. Dude created like a little cardboard cutout of himself, laid it in his bed. He left Friday. They didn't notice until around 7 a.m. on Monday that he was gone. So the dude had a 3-day head start, and he's an illegal immigrant. I forget what country he's from, but he's been charged. He has 3 or 4 charges involved with transporting or manufacturing explosives. I think he's detonated twice. One time he killed someone and injured someone. The other time I think was just in a vehicle in a parking garage. But I just was calling to let you know about it, just because I feel like it should be bigger than what it is. Because I'm not sure what prison guards they have up there at the prison. I'm not sure if they're Jeffrey Epstein's prison guards, because I don't know how this dude left and they didn't notice for 3 days with the technology that we have today at one of the most secure facilities here in the state.
So here's the question: how did he escape?
No one knows.
So he just left. He was just gone. It's like, okay, I'm out, and it was a cardboard cutout. They thought it was him, and they didn't notice for like 3 days.
For 3 days, and I'm confused at how you think that the dude is laying there in his bed for 3 days straight without eating. Like, what did they think he was doing?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm thinking about how I thought prison was. They do count to make sure that the inmates are there and everybody's accounted for. People aren't just, dead in their cell, because he could have been dead right there too. So that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's Jeffrey Epstein's prison guards got transferred here in Vegas is what my best guess is, obviously.
There you go.
But
exactly.
I think it's just crazy. Like I said, he's an illegal immigrant as well. I forget what country he's from. He's not from Mexico. He's from another Central America country, I believe. But yeah, I just figured I'll call and let you know about it, because I feel like it should be bigger than what it is. So
definitely, absolutely.
All right, have a good night, ABL. And once again, great live stream.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Yep, bye.
It's crazy. How do you escape a prison? Like, you just, and nobody knows. They think you're in your bed. Don't they do count? Don't they? Because again, he could have just been dead right there for 3 days and nobody would know the difference. And how did they discover him? Oh, let's go check his cell to see if he's still breathing after 3 days. That's weird. So definitely inside job for sure. For sure. Ain't no doubt about that. All right. Let's go. The phone lines are blowing up, so y'all please bear with me. 724 on line. Who am I speaking to?
Justin, calling from Central Florida here.
All righty, man. Are you safe from the storm?
I'm good, man. I got power right now, and it's just a little windy. It's a little rainy, a little wet.
Gotcha.
And throw out the prayer hands to the South Florida and all my brothers and sisters that are Floridians in the Central Florida area and the area of South Florida. I'm praying for you, and hopefully I'll get through that. But you're talking about cognitive deficits of political leaders, of how you need a test. And I wondered if you heard that clip about Joe Biden going, saying, you need your vaccinations because it's the hurricane.
Oh, yeah.
I
heard that. I put it at the beginning of my video today about Don Lemon and that was crazy. And people say that kind of in jest, but then when you hear him say it, it's like, seriously, what is that going to do? Can a vaccination ward off a hurricane? If your house is flooded, will the water go away if you're vaccinated? I mean, it was just so silly for him to say that, but they can't let any tragedy, any kind of scary event go to waste. It's crazy.
Definitely is. And that's just show how out of touch they are. And people are really waking up. I see it everywhere. Just, people are just fed up with it. And, like you said, they're all about Trump. They love Trump. But, if they didn't have Trump, they would just be a lonely, sorry son of a guns. That's for sure, because they would have nothing to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
I want to shout out to my governor, my great governor of Ron DeSantis in the state of Florida doing a great job keeping us updated here with the storms. And I know you got other callers, so I'm just going to be brief. And y'all have a great night, and everyone stay safe. Peace.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. All right. Shout out to my man for the call. Yeah. Like, get vaccinated because the storm is coming. I mean, what's better advice? Him saying, okay, the storm's coming, get vaccinated, or your grandma saying, hey, the storm coming, turn the lights off in the house. Unplug the TV in the house. Unplug the TV, turn the lights off. It's raining outside. What's better advice? Okay, let me keep on going here. Now I want to, who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how you doing?
It's all good about yourself.
I am doing wonderful. Please tell me, ABL, please tell me that we are in some kind of bloopers of a joke and somebody's going to pop out and say, "Da!" I mean, this dude really can't be running the country. No disrespect, but he sat there and asked for a lady that had passed 6 months ago. What is wrong with this dude?
Yeah, he's clearly
He
not
does
there.
it all the time.
Yeah.
And I hope you all are doing well. And we're in Savannah, Georgia, not far from Florida, preparing for the hurricane. And it's really sad that political takes over and they can't even check on Florida, which the governor is awesome. He's got them taken care of from what I've been watching. But I don't understand how all of this can keep going and we can't do nothing about it. It's just crazy to me. I feel like when I watch some of them, it insults my intelligence so bad.
Same here, because they say things that don't make any sense, and then it's like they want us to believe it. It's like, how can I believe that? It makes no sense. You're not using your brain.
It makes no sense. That's just like they postponed, not to interrupt you, but they postponed the January 6th hearings in Washington for the hurricane. Okay, we're not near Washington.
Right.
We are nowhere near Washington, so it's just a ploy to do something else. I don't understand how they don't know that we don't see it. But the thing I think that hurts me the hardest, and it's hard for me, is we watch it and we can't do nothing about it. It doesn't make any sense.
Right, exactly.
It's crazy, but and Rip Coolio, I heard he passed away today.
Yeah,
not
he did.
too long ago, actually. I just heard that. So Rip Coolio. But you have a wonderful night. I was just calling in to say maybe, hopefully, something will happen for us in a blooper. This is like just like a show or something, because we're going to go into World War III, and this guy don't even know who he's asking for. Even said the lady went to the bathroom. Rip, may she rest in peace. But I was like, really? Did he just say that?
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Crazy. Well, you have a wonderful night. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
All right, bye.
You know what's crazier is that the lady who was deceased, he wished her family condolences. Sorry for your loss. Thoughts and prayers. You said that, but then you forgot that she was dead. You asked for her, but forgot she was dead. I mean, what are we doing? 918, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's JD Scotsman from Oklahoma. How you doing, buddy?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Not a lot, man. Great show as always. I wanted to comment about Don Lemon trying to talk about climate change. Like, you know what climate change really all boils down to?
What's that?
One word. Weather. Okay. Weather is always changing.
That's right.
I mean, my God, it's been changing for millions and millions of years. I mean, we had an ice age. I mean, did the dinosaurs blame the meteor that came down and killed them all on climate change? I mean, and then you got this, how you going to fight it? I mean, seriously, John Kerry flying around in his jet all over the world as the climate czar. What are you going to do? Are you going to go to war with the weather? How the heck do you do that?
You can't. I mean, We can't control the weather. I mean, I don't think we can. If we can, then they're holding some secrets from us. So if the weather can't be controlled, then what are we doing? We're just on the earth. All we can do is just try not to make things dirty. That's one thing. Don't put dirt in your drinking water. But aside from that, weather is going to be the weather.
Exactly, yeah. So and it's funny how it went from global warming, back in the day. Now it's just climate change. Like, wonder who decided to change that term,
Right, exactly.
What I call it, though, I just call it, it's the weather, I mean, sometimes it's hot. I live in Oklahoma, and, we have hot summers, we have mild summers, we have really hardcore winters, we have mild winters. I mean, it's been like that forever, It's just, I don't know. It's one of the biggest scams I think the government's ever done on people, trying to convince everybody that, the climate's changing and it's all our fault,
Right.
But anyway, I'll say, for your 1 million subscriber celebration, y'all are welcome out here at my place. I got 20 acres. I got 3 fishing ponds. I got plenty of wood for a big bonfire, some grilling. Yeah, it'd be a good spot.
Sounds fun, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, man. All right. Well, love you, dude. Love everybody in the chat. And I'll sit back and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
All right, later, man.
All righty. Great call. I'm on Twitter right here, and the rapper, DaBaby, remember him? I did a video about him because he angered the LGBTs, okay? He said some things during the concert that they didn't like, and I said right then his career is over with. He's done. Now, at the time, DaBaby was a hot rapper everywhere, one of the hottest rappers in the game. Now, he put out a new album, and it's going to be outside the top 20. It's going to be outside the top 20. It's only going to sell between 13 and 16,000 in the first week. You went from being one of the hottest guys in the game to basically a nobody because of the LGBT community saying, you know what, he offended us because of what he said. Now we're going to just take him out of the industry. I knew as soon as it happened, I knew he was over with. People said that I was tripping and it wasn't going to happen. He's too hot. I was like, watch, he'll be done because of what he said. And here we are. Let's keep on going. 470, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, ABL. Hey, it's Greg McClung from Wild and Wacky Atlanta. How are you doing, sir?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Well, I haven't gotten shot today, so it's another good day in Atlanta.
Right, exactly.
Anyway, yeah, I hear you laughing. You know how crazy it is here. The crime, thanks to the liberals,
right,
run the city. Anyway, no, I'm really thrilled that Giorgia Meloni won in Italy as the new prime minister, and I really think that's great. And she's getting called a fascist by all the communist news organizations, or so-called news organizations around the country. And it's just interesting how she mentioned that she would not be reduced to a number. And I thought that was really good that she said that, because it's like, most people in America don't realize this, but inmates in Nazi concentration camps were reduced to numbers. They were never called by their name. That's how the Nazis stole their identity. And that's what the government wants to do to us.
That's right. Exactly right. And, if we keep going down that road, we get closer and closer to that history we don't need to repeat. So what she said was right on point.
Yeah, and I think it's really a cheap shot of the media to take advantage of her Italian ancestry by bringing up the history of the connection to fascism and Mussolini.
Right.
That's just not right. That's wrong. They would have done the same thing to a conservative German running for, Chancellor of Germany in Germany,
Right, exactly.
So
and then it's like, like you said, why take her heritage? Why Mussolini? Is there nobody else you could compare it to in the world? Why him specifically? They're trying to just, like I said, link it to the Italian heritage. At a certain point, is that racism? Is it, like, what is that?
Yeah, it's ignorance. It's a lack of history. They don't understand history. It's just stupid. But that's really cool. So anyway, I'm glad to get through. And So, yeah, we're winning. We're really winning, I think. I hope we're going to win the midterms. We have to take the Senate and the House. If not, we are screwed. But I think we will because, unless, the left cheats through massive, steals elections through massive voter fraud like they did the last election, which they're going to try, of course. They're going to do it because they know if they don't steal this last election, they're screwed. Because this election, if we win the midterm election, this is definitely our path to 2024 when Trump's going to win. And this is their last roadblock. So.
Right on, man. Yeah, I think that they're trying to do whatever they can to keep him out of office. I mean, that's why they keep talking about him right now. He's not announced a run. He's not saying anything about that necessarily specifically. But they know that if he was to run again, he'd be a big threat. So they want to try to keep him out of the way. That's why they keep doing this whole January 6th Dog and Pony show, to keep him in the minds of the people, to think he's some kind of bad and heinous guy that shouldn't be voted for. That's all. Because they know, again, he has a really big following and probably the best chance to win, and they don't want him to regain control of the world anymore.
Yeah, but Trump and the conservatives on the right, all we have to do is hold up a mirror to the left and show the world, show America what they're all about. The left is running on nothing but high crime, high taxes, inflation, high gas prices, a weak border. 2-3 million people have probably crossed the border in just the last year and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Unless they pull off some massive scheme like they did in 2020 through massive voter fraud and steal the election, there's no way they can win. They have nothing to run on. We're going to win.
Right on.
All right, man. Take care. Best wishes to you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, the whole January 6th thing is so silly. Dog and Pony show to the max. It's like, what are we even talking about here? So dumb. All right. 304 on line. Who am I speaking to?
Man, it's your favorite West Virginia / Georgian here. Let me pause you real quick. Can you hear me?
I hear you well, man.
Hey, man, I was calling. This is kind of old news. You didn't cover any of it this week. I think you did last week and did it the week before. Well, you didn't have a show week before, but about the lady in the bar in Hiram, Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, that really hit home because that bar is literally like 3 miles from where I grew up, and I've been to that bar probably I don't know. I hate to say how many times, I didn't count, but at least a couple of 100 times.
Right.
And I can tell you that bar is not a racist place. It is basically exactly, what you pinned it to be. There's some country redneck folks. There's black people in there. And I'm sure the lady walked in there with an attitude. She had to, because the place just isn't like that. And whenever all we got to see was when she turned her phone on, we didn't get to see what. I'm sure the lady didn't just like say, "Here's your food," and sling it at her like she made it out to be. And I could hear her just being like, "Turn the music down." It's like, no, somebody paid money in the jukebox to play their music. They're sitting in there eating, drinking beer, whatever they're doing. And she also said that that's the only place to find a pool table. There's another bar in the same exact parking lot, and it's also a pool hall. There's another place that has pool tables just a few miles up the road. So that's a lie. She just didn't know where she was and assumed she was at a little honky tonk and was going to go in there and get some TikTok hits or whatever. But I can assure you, and whoever else that saw that is not how that place is. I mean, it's a bunch of people that talk like me. But no, it's not a racist place at all.
Yeah, I knew what it was right away. When I saw the video, I could tell by how she was acting and how they were acting. She was just irate about some of the smallest things, and that's probably what started the whole thing to begin with. So I already knew what that was from the jump. She just wanted to make it be some kind of TikTok moment, talk about racism, which is so common nowadays. Is whenever I see an episode of racism, allegedly, I think it's fake. Or I want to know more. I don't believe it right away. And sometimes it could be racism, but I see so much fake stuff I can't believe it right away. And in this case, it was clear what it was from the beginning.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the guy in the background that was like, I am a racist. Now, I can't speak on his behalf. Maybe he is. But as far as the establishment and the people that own it, and if there's not like a sign, you know, no coloreds allowed or some crazy stuff like that. No, that's not how that place is.
Exactly. I figured.
At all. And a matter of fact, there's a guy that comes in there quite often, and he's a black guy, and I don't know his occupation, but he goes in there and he'll give the DJ like, I don't know, 10 or 20 bucks, and the DJ will play rap music all night long. It's because he's tipping really good.
Right.
You know, it's just not that type of place. And I also wanted to ask you, I know you did something about one of these drag shows where, you know, all ages invited or whatnot. But I also saw one that you didn't cover that was in Chattanooga, and I know you live around there, where there was like a kid at one of these drag shows, and the kid was actually like touching the drag queen's area.
Yeah.
And all the parents were videoing it and just laughing like it was all good. I just figured you might would have covered that since it's close to where you stay.
Yeah, I think I am going to cover it. But I saw that video. So local news says that was actual woman. But still, it doesn't make a difference because it don't make a difference because the thing is, you're still touching this woman in the wrong place. Okay. Like you tell kids, hey, don't touch anybody right there and don't let anybody touch you right there. So that was a violation regardless of if that was a woman or a man. And in the comment section I was reading on the local news, some people were saying, some that were defending the drag queen was talking about, oh, well, if it was a man, his penis would have been taped down and tucked away, so it would have been fine. I'm like, you know what? See, that right there, you have a bunch of perverts that want to allow this kind of stuff to happen. So, yeah, I think I'm going to do a video about that and talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, that stuff really, really bothers me because as far as I'm concerned, everybody in that place should be took to jail at the least.
Oh,
but yeah, male, female, kids shouldn't be there in that environment, period, and especially not on stage touching and all that. I mean, you can go to an adult place and the adults can't touch the strippers, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You go to a above age and touch one of the strippers and see what happens to you. You're going to get your butt kicked and thrown out in the parking lot real quick.
That's right.
But, no, I just really want to talk about the bar there. I would say the name of it, but I'm not going to put them on blast, even though it might give them some business. But, no, that place is not like that. And I couldn't believe whenever I saw the picture in the background of the horse and stuff, I was like, man, that's my old bar.
Right.
But that's it, man. Just keep it going, bro. I love it.
Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate you.
All right, later.
Yeah, man. The whole thing with Chattanooga. Yeah, so they said the mermaid or whatever was a woman, but it doesn't even really matter. Because it's still inappropriate, and you could see the quote unquote woman trying to move the little or shoot the woman was trying to tell or show the little girl where to touch, because they said the girl was trying to touch the mermaid tail to feel the texture of it, but was rubbing like right there on the private area. But see, I don't got no words. Like some of these videos I kind of don't want to do because the video is kind of graphic a little bit. And it's like, can I even show this? You see what I mean? Now, luckily nobody was naked or anything, but that's next. And who can make an excuse for that happening? It's crazy. People are nuts. No pun intended. And I'm not trying to be funny. All right. Call I'm speaking to 479. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, this is Hurricane Andrew. I'm kind of stuck in Arkansas right now, though.
Okay, what's happening?
Not much. I was curious on your viewpoint on this methane spill out there in the sea that Biden may have. I don't want to put out there that he did, but attacked Nord Stream 2.
Yeah, I think that was us that did that. And the purpose, obviously, would be to cut off Russia's leverage, because that's their leverage is the gas. So if they don't have that, then it's easier to try to because the whole thing with Ukraine, it's a proxy war against Russia. That's all it is. So if they're able to cut off the gas, then they can more easily be able to dominate them because their financial supply is cut off. That's just what it is, really, in my opinion.
But on their point of being this global warming stuff, and they're going to throw methane out there, isn't that kind of stupid?
Of course it is, but the whole global warming thing is not really. They're not being serious. That's just like a political talking point. They don't believe it. They don't believe it because we don't need to see the methane being leaked into the Baltic Sea to understand that point. We can see that point when they take private jets all around the world. You know how much fuel a private jet consumes? So they're not really being serious. All that's just political posturing, and it's also for control. They want to push electric. They want to push electric vehicles because they can control them, and they want to push global currency. They say, "Oh, we're cutting down too many trees. Let's have all digital currency." So you won't have an ability to drive your car completely. They'll control that. They'll control your money. It's just about trying to subjugate us and control us while they still fly in their private jets all around the world powered by gasoline, jet fuel.
Right. Yeah, especially that all the flying, like what's his name, has been flying around telling people, "Oh, don't drive your gasoline powered cars. You need to start driving, electric." That's crazy. But he's burning more fuel flying his airplane, telling people that.
Right.
Well, my question would be, would you be afraid of Russia's threat to the United States for that?
I think I wouldn't be afraid, but I think that could be a serious problem. I think it wouldn't even be necessarily Russia against the U.S. It would be a world war. It wouldn't just be one country.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't be by themselves.
I know that I did a report on both the nuclear armament of Russia and our rail guns in orbit over the I would say the planet, but we have the orbital array up there that shoots railgun army. It shoots a round that goes 90,000 miles a second. It's an aluminum round. It'll penetrate a tank, just blow a tank up.
Wow.
And they're supposed to be able to hit a nuclear bomb coming into our airspace, right? But if they got those hypersonic missiles in China loaded with nuclear armament, they're not going to be able to hit that.
Right.
That's too fast.
Exactly.
That's going to be scary, I think. I mean, with China anyway. I don't know if Russia has those hypersonic missiles or not, but I'm sure they could get it from China. They could get the technology from China.
Right.
That's kind of scary. I think Biden is playing with fire on this.
Yeah, I think he is, for sure.
Well, I just thought I'd iterate that. Maybe. I did a report on the Tsar bombs. Those are I know Trump supposedly did something with our nuclear arms, made it more deadly. Do you know anything about that? I know he did a little thing on one of his rallies, talking about how he improved the nuclear armament of our military.
I'm not really sure.
It was a short clip, but I don't know a whole lot about it.
Oh, man. Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, now.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. 812, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
It was a short clip, but I don't know a whole lot about it.
812, hello. All right, 812 got a little cold feet. So it might be a new caller. New caller, if you're calling in, if you're trying to talk on the phone, do not look at the stream. It won't work. Talk to me on the phone and turn the stream off. That's your best bet. All right. 216 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
How you doing?
It's all good about yourself.
I'm just watching them live of ABL.
Okay, I'm live right now. You're talking to me right now.
Sweet. This nutcase that you just hit on.
Huh?
The nutcase you just hit on.
What nutcase?
About, I'm watching live on your show. I love you. I don't know how to support you. I'm trying to sign up so I can support you.
Okay, yeah, just go to the website.
But I'm in a house of nuts. And let's watch a police officer on YouTube shoot a man with a gun to his head.
Okay.
This don't make no sense.
You said what happened now? The officer did what now?
The officer, as the dude's like scared for his life. I watched this on YouTube clip. He had a gun to his head.
Okay, sorry. I mean, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but sorry, you gotta stop. You can't be drinking like that, man. If you're gonna drink like that, man, get sober up, then call back. I'm sorry. I try to. The number to call 434-658-1220. Sorry, caller. Enjoy the show, but you can't be on like that. You're not really. I did that for you. I'm looking out for your best interest right there, sir. 773, you know line with speaker 2.
ABL, it's your retired Chicago police officer friend.
All right, man, what's going on?
Number one, if no one knows the nutcase you're talking about, then you're probably the nutcase. Sorry, I had to say that. And number two, I would invite you to Chicago for your 1 millionth subscriber. But you'd probably get yourself kidnapped over here, and they would try to get a ransom from YouTube, which wouldn't happen. So you better stay where you're at, ABL.
Right, I got you.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Number one, quickly, Don Lemon, this poor meteorologist, thinks he's going to come out and give CNN coverage on the hurricane, and it turns into this political thing about global warming. I mean, I'm glad the guy put Don Lemon in his place, though. I'm glad that happened because he really did. He was polite about it, but he was like, no, I'm not talking about that. We're talking about the hurricane. The other thing I wanted to talk about, ABL, I'm much more serious. The whole Ukraine and Russia thing, that is almost a precursor to the real problem. And this happened on 60 Minutes, too, which he, muffed up the answer, was what if China goes into and tries to take Taiwan? That's a very serious thing. I saw a program where they were speaking about that, and then they were saying that if there's any kind of aggression against China, if they take Taiwan, China will probably try to strike Australia first, kind of as a preemptive strike to them to see what America will do. And China, they have the firepower to put up, and then you'll have a world war for sure. And this is what happens, and we've said it over and over and over. This is what happens when you have somebody that's weak like Biden, because, these things would have never happened under Trump because Trump was kind of a wild card. They didn't know how Trump would react, so you don't do anything. You just sit back and let the powers be that be. But, once Biden showed weakness in Afghanistan and Russia was able to, we're going to take back the Ukraine, and now China is already flexing their muscle and looks like they're going to or may see what kind of response they'll get if they try to take Taiwan over. I'd like you to speak on that a little bit, ABL, if you could. And, I love your show. I'll listen for what you have to say about that. And, congratulations. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yes, there was a lot there. I'm not exactly sure what he wants me to say, but now as far as Taiwan, I don't think nothing will happen with that. That's a non-starter. That's a non-starter because you see, Russia, they may be a little bit more lenient than China. If you try to invade Taiwan, it's just not going to work. If you try to do any kind of proxy war in Taiwan, it's not going to work. See what's happening right now. Russia, quote unquote, invaded Ukraine, but what is going on is there's a proxy war being fought against Russia and Ukraine. China will not tolerate a proxy war. They will attack you directly if they are attacked, in my opinion. 860, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's Sonia. How are you doing this evening?
It's all good. About yourself?
Okay. Well, the first thing I want to say is that I totally agree with that caller a few calls back who said that every time she watches what is going on the TV, that she feels like they are insulting her intelligence.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. I feel the same way.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like climate change is the new racism because now that's what they bring up every other time, every chance they get. It's like the defund the police thing kind of died down and they once in a while take a break from the racism and now everything is climate change. But it was nice to see Don Lemon look like a fool yet again, like he did when he brought up reparations.
Oh, absolutely. It's like they're kind of like setting up at this point. They're making them look crazy on his own network. Whatever they're doing, I'm not even mad at it. It's fun to me.
And I just heard that Fox is buying CNN.
I'm not sure. That could be correct. Maybe News Corp will buy it. I don't know. I had to look it up.
Not too impressed by that anyway because Fox has its own problems, right? And I feel like they do things that are more like mainstream lately anyway. What do you say?
Yeah, I think Fox does have some issues, like hiring Big Bruce, Caitlyn Jenner. Is like, what are we doing? Where are we going? So, but still.
Yeah, and you heard that Cuomo went to News Nation, right?
No, I didn't hear about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, they hired him over there, and they're supposed to be non-biased. So that really doesn't make any sense. But I just wanted to tell you something about New York City, because tell me if this makes sense. I was reading an article that said that 14,600 asylum seekers arrived in New York, all right? And some of them moved on to other places because they had that option. But 11,000 of them ended up staying in the homeless shelter system. So now what they're doing, even though it's up to capacity or was already over capacity, they are doing, it says, a 1,000 tent bed for adult asylum seekers in Orchard Beach. It says they'll be heated, but it won't be fulfilling all the requirements to comply with right to shelter laws. And I'm wondering, they say that we have a homelessness problem. We know this already, actually. We are dealing with inflation. We have crime. You say your schools are bad. You say that a lot of these criminals, the excuse they give is that, oh, they need mental health or there's not enough housing. So tell me how bringing all these people in fixes these problems that the same people of color are complaining about all the time.
Well, you know, it's they have these different quote unquote solutions that they say don't work sometimes, and sometimes they do. It's weird. It's weird. All depends on the situation. You know, you're talking about Martha's Vineyard. They don't want to have that, but somewhere else it's okay. It's weird.
Well, the thing is that the BLM people are the first ones to speak on behalf of the undocumented citizens or whatever they want to call them. But they don't realize that they have to move over to make room for them. And then Obama said in some interview recently that the GOP has problems with immigration because they have a problem with people of a darker shade. When I've seen countless people of a darker shade talking about what they're going through, but you never see those people on the TV. They're Mexicans too. They're from all different places. They're Nigerian too. And they're talking about illegal immigration. And I can't find anybody who can explain to me how we can take on all these people with all the problems that we have as it is without them calling me a xenophobe.
Right, exactly. You know, it's weird how that works. And I think people like Obama, they can just, they could speak that way when it's politically expedient to do so. It doesn't make any sense. It's not right, but they can just say that whenever they need to. Because just a few years ago, back in 2007, I saw a video of him saying the exact opposite. So it was politically
Exactly.
It was cool to say
Clinton
it.
too.
It was cool to say it back then because it made more sense considering the climate. But now it's different because the climate has changed. No pun intended.
And I only wish that these people would scrutinize their local leaders the way they scrutinize Trump.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because they blame the government. They keep blaming the governors of the red states when Biden is the one letting them get to the red states to begin with.
Right.
Anyway, I'm preaching to the choir, so I'll leave you now. But I just want to remind everybody who's listening to please get vaccinated because hurricane.
Right on.
I'll keep listening. Good night.
Thanks
Ciao
for the call.
now.
All right, now.
Bye.
All right, great call. And thank you all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internets. If you enjoyed what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. This whole thing with immigration, illegal immigration, and all that good stuff, it's so weird. They change, like, people change their underwears, you know? Underwears, yes, with an S. Like I said, Obama had a whole different point of view. Obama changed quite a bit. He's a chameleon because he was a guy that would be against gay marriage, illegal immigration. All of them were against illegal immigration. They're talking about building the wall and everything, a fence, a structure, et cetera, et cetera. What's that mean? As a matter of fact, there was already a border wall before Trump came there. It just was a kind of a shoddy little basic border wall that already existed. So when he says he wants to build more, he's racist. But for you already having the border wall there, then you're not racist. 281, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 281, hello. Going once, going twice. All right, 281, if you're listening to me now, you have to have your ear to the phone because you will not be able to look at the stream and talk to me. There is a delay, so please keep your ear to the phone if you're calling into the show for the first time or anytime. Ear to the phone. You can talk to me that way. You cannot talk to me through the YouTube. It won't work. Here's a delay. So when I answer the phone, turn the YouTube off so we don't have any background noise as well. All righty. But yeah, they had a border wall. I was in El Paso, Texas in 2017, and Trump had just become the president, right? He just got inaugurated that year. And I saw there was a wall right there. As a matter of fact, there was a double wall in between El Paso and Juarez. It was a double wall, barbed wire, and it was a military base right there. Okay, matter of fact, it was military people on the plane with me when I got there. This lady had her dog, her military dog. I don't know what kind of dog it was, but whatever kind of dog it was, that thing shed like 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'm talking about like this thing shed the speed of light. The dog was super active all over, kind of on me a little bit too. The paws were a little bit sharp. The paws a little bit. I was like, okay, ouch, ouch. But the lady had just hair all over her, right? And the dog had the thing on it said, "Do not pet." This is a military dog. Got a military base right here, double wall, all of that in 2017. But when we say, hey, let's make that a little bit stronger. Let's make it be a little bit. Let's extend it a little bit. Now you're a racist. But they have it already right there. They're not racist for that. They have a military base right there. They're not racist for that. It's weird how that works. 559 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, Patrick from California. How's it going?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Hey, man. Just want to put some prayers out to the people in Florida going through Hurricane Ian. I know that's a pretty rough thing to be through right now, especially with how devastating it is. And, I just, my heart weighs heavy on everybody that is having to go through all of that right now.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely.
I wanted to kind of get your opinion on what's your take on Gavin Newsom signing the Farm Workers Union bill and granting state IDs to illegal immigrants in California?
I'm not surprised. I think that's probably his ultimate goal is to have no borders, have everybody be just coming into the country whenever they want to. And maybe what he wants to do is kind of like exploit them, because if you're giving these people these these worker visa or something like that, I presume they would not work for standard rates. I presume they work for a lot less than your average American citizen would get paid. So that's probably what that is. You're trying to exploit labor in the name of altruism, in the name of trying to be the civil rights icon. You're just trying to exploit people.
Right. Yeah, I also heard that they also can, I guess, go through some sort of a loophole with the IRS where they can claim X amount of family members, and the IRS really has no idea whether or not these people are here or in their country of origin. And so their tax returns, they're getting like, I mean, $5, $10, $15, $20,000 in tax returns. And it's just like going completely unchecked through the federal government.
Right. So not only are they exploiting the people, they're exploiting the federal government and taxpayers, like honest taxpayers that pay into the system the appropriate way. So it's a mess. It's a whole big mess.
It really is. Did you hear that he could be possibly now recalling his announcement to run for president?
Oh, did he announce that he was going to run already? I didn't catch that one.
Okay, because I think that it was like he came out and said that he was not making any plans whatsoever to run. I should have actually made that clear. He didn't say that he was going to run. I could have swore that I seen an article that he was stating that he was not intending to run at all. And so I just wasn't sure if, I wasn't sure if you had seen that or not, or heard of anything like that.
No, I hadn't seen that, but I wouldn't be surprised if he said that, if he kind of just made it clear that I'm not going to make a decision one way or the other because he might want to run. Because I'm seeing him take out ads. I think he took out ads in Florida, stuff like that. I mean, there's no point in doing that other than you trying to become a larger political figure other than the governor of California, which would be the president or a senator. But I think the bigger thing would be the president. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. They're probably telling him, okay, you got the look, you kind of young compared to 1,000-year-old Joe Biden. Go ahead and just toss your hat in the ring. I wouldn't be surprised if he ran.
Yeah, because he said something like, oh, well, if Joe Biden runs, then I'm not going to run, or something of that nature. And then Joe Biden, from my understanding, says that he has every intention to run in 2024, correct?
Yes, he did say that.
Yeah. So that is interesting, but also, speaking of Joe Biden, I heard that he still has not called Ron DeSantis yet regarding Hurricane Ian.
Well, he changed that. I saw earlier in the day he hadn't called DeSantis. He had just called the mayors. But then after that, later in the day, he called DeSantis. And that was after the news first broke that he didn't. So I guess, when the news came out, he didn't call DeSantis. He had to clean it up and then call him. So he did call him. I think DeSantis confirmed that himself on air. But it was later after the news got out that he didn't.
Wow. Yeah. So still there's kind of some tension there because it's still like, well, if you waited until the news broke to call him, then, it seems like that you didn't do it just out of good faith.
Right.
So anyway, all right, ABL. Well, hey, you know what? I appreciate the conversation, and thanks for allowing me to call in and give your 2 cents on that, and hope you take care. Have a great night. God bless the United States of America and our 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. You take care, sir.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. All right, great call. Yeah, man. So this whole political thing is crazy. Gavin Newsom, yeah, he's trying to run for president. But see, the problem is California is not faring very well, so I'm not sure how he's going to really run on that. But I guess, anybody better than Joe or Kamala. Kamala has no idea what's going on. Joe doesn't know what's going on. At least Gavin Newsom is more articulate. His ideas are not good, but he's able to articulate his bad ideas very well, if that makes any sense. He kind of reminds me of a white version of Barack Obama. A little teeny bit. Just that much. Matter of fact, he's like a combination of Obama and Justin Trudeau. Because he got that soft edge to him, too, that he can't really hide like Obama did, but different story. 415, turn on line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Vincent Williams from California.
All righty, what's happening?
Hey, I want to piggyback on this guy. What's his name? Patrick in Cali. I'm with him on this one, but I have something I want to interject.
All righty.
About Gavin Newsom. No. You must go bye-bye.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. I would not vote for Gavin Newsom, of course. But would he run for...
Let me just say what. I ran into this guy in the elevator once, right? I was with my spouse, which I'm still with now, 10, 15 years ago. Oh, my God, that's Gavin Newsom. He was, at the time, the mayor of San Francisco. And, he was going through this little scandal with his, with something, infidelities, which is, I have to give him some props. He did come out like, yeah, that was bad. I give him respect on that one. But he's not a very bright person. And I don't mean no disrespect at all. Not at all. I'm not trying to say he's not, I just put it the way, he's not capable for the job he's taking on right now. He's just been thrust into that, and he has to try to play the game. Why we not try to recall him? Because he screwed all our state up. Florida was kicking behind while we're, so far behind. It made no sense. Why would you shut down the entire state? I tried to go to the beach myself, personally. What, I can't go to the beach? Oh, the COVID's here. What the? What are you talking about? COVID is where? I'm looking for it. I can't find it. Oh, because, the pandemic. So you're telling me that God's air is no longer good anymore? Is that? Well, that's the way. And then you see these headlines with that schmo, and I said it. He's having dinner with other folks in a little round table, and everybody's seen this, so I don't have to go into that part of it. But to try to move into this next state of play, you want to be the president, or I think he's trying to go for it. Okay, he's going to lose. I mean, let's call it what it is. But to attack Ron DeSantis, dude, you should be focused on what's happening here. Here, I live in San Francisco. Our city, it's not as bad as they make it look to be. It's not the best. It could be much better, but it's not as bad as it on the media, what the media shows us. But it's not that good, ABL. It really isn't. It's not like, where you just walk down the street and be all tippy-toe and everything's cool. We still have to, think about it. I had some guys shot guns next to my house not so long ago, so it's not that good. But anywho, fast forward to what I'm trying to say. With the whole idea with Newsom trying to run for president, no, ain't going to happen. He can attempt to do it. It's not going to happen. What's going to end up happening, in my own personal opinion, Trump's laying low. He's going to come out like a beast and to clean up all these other states. Because, quite frankly, most Americans don't really care for what's happening right now. It looks really, really bad for all of us, nationwide. And then talk about globally, good Lord. That's what I'd say about that.
Right on, man. Thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
Have a good one, Abel.
All right, now.
Keep up the good work, brother.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, San Fran's pretty rough, though. I get the whole thing about it's not the entire place, but it's like some things I see there I don't see anywhere else at all in any part of the city at all. 210, you don't lie. Who am I speaking to? Okay, maybe I answered that wrong. I don't know what happened. 210, if you could call back. I'm sorry. I don't know what Skype did there. Skype did something different I hadn't seen before. All right. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. You guys, you got the best audience anywhere on the internet. I cannot do the show without you. And I mean that sincerely. Sincerely. All righty. Let me see. Yeah, California is like, I don't know. It's some cities you can, even like Chicago. You can go to Chicago and you can find the beautiful part of Chicago. But then if you're in the bad part, you're really in the bad part, and it can get super ugly. It can get super duper ugly, and you don't want any parts of it. 610, you don't lie. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's happening, ABL? This is Michael, man.
All right, what's going on?
Hey, I appreciate you taking my call, man. I just, like a lot of people out there, I want to shout out everybody in Florida. A couple years ago, Sally wiped me out. And, I knew my neighbors going into that thing. But after it did what it did and it destroyed us, I really fell in love with them, and I was on my way out of town anyway. So what I want to put to everybody out there is, you might not know your neighbors that well, but this might be the time, no matter where you are. The world is crazy, and when it gets crazier, you're going to need some good people around you, and you're going to need to be good to the people around you. So, make a friend now, because you might need them later, and whatever it is, And I just wanted to put that out there. Dig in with some people around you. You never know when you might need them. I appreciate what you do, man, and I'd like to shout out your merch, man. I got one of the We the People hats. It's good stuff. Looks better on you than it does on me, but man, it's good stuff, and I appreciate what you do. And I'll pick up one of those flags one of these days too, man. But yeah, keep up the good work, man, and everybody take care of each other and be safe. Thanks, man.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. All right, good call. Shout out to him. All right, I'm reading some of the comments here. I got a little bit of time left for some more calls. And the number to call, of course, you see right there, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And thank you all for joining. Yeah, I got some more videos coming out tomorrow. I got my topics ready. I'm gonna talk about what am I doing tomorrow? I'm gonna talk about I got a funny video from a radio show host. I'll talk about Nord 1 and Nord 2 a little bit, and also Eric Adams and the whole thing about the brand. I'll talk about the brand. What's New York City's brand? That's the question that I would ask anybody. What is their brand? I'll talk about that in a separate video tomorrow. That's the objective. Am I going to see Woman King? I think I do want to see Woman King. I think I might check that out when I have some time, which I don't know when that's going to be, but I do want to go ahead and check that out because, I want to be able to give an opinion on it, not just from the trailer or the preview. You see what I mean? Because I can look at the trailer and kind of read about it and think that it's going to be one thing, but people that I know have gone to see it and they said it was actually better than what they anticipated. They were looking at it to be some really super woke stuff, but they said it wasn't really that. So I don't know. I got to see it for myself to make my own opinion to see exactly what's going on. They said there was some woke stuff in there, but it wasn't as woke as what they thought it was going to be. They thought it was going to be something that didn't really tell the history, and I don't know. I got to see it for myself to really give an opinion on it. So that's kind of what I'm going to do here pretty soon. Stay Hungry says, wouldn't a woman king be a queen? Yeah, but we kind of, that's a different story. 541 on line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Jeffrey from Southern Oregon. Thank you for taking my call, ABL. I'd like to circle back to the Jeffrey Dahmer, William Gacy thing. I was in my 30s when Dahmer did his thing. And the whole thing, as I remember, as it was going down, one guy escaped from him, and then the police brought him back to Dahmer.
Yeah, that was a 14-year-old, I think.
Yeah, it was, a minor, right? And it was like, there was a lot of bad stuff, on both sides, right? I mean, anyway, it was just, that's what I remembered. Okay. And then Gacy, I don't even know why they're showing that, but what you made sense on was that there's people born that don't know anything about it.
Right. Exactly.
And that, again, is something to you want to learn, I guess, to be safe. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you. And then Trump, and then one of the other calls was about the nukes. Trump rebuilt the nukes. If he did or didn't, it's good propaganda. And they were, during the last years of the Obama administration, they were taking parts off of the F-16s from the junkyard to keep them flying. Right? It was pretty bad. We were pretty depleted in the money-wise for rebuilding our military. But once again, I don't know. He said it made bullets. We didn't have bullets. I'm sure we had bullets. But anyway, that's just Trump. So it's cool. Let him know, hey, we're ready.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, you have a good night. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, shout out to the caller. Good call. I do remember that about Trump rebuilding the nuclear arsenal. I think that's what we were talking about right there. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, and I know what we got to rebuild now is our gasoline reserves because Biden released all of that pretty much. I think the last time I heard was a few days ago. They said we were at 40% capacity for our fuel reserves, but I think he's going to deplete it all the way until he'll deplete it enough to last until the midterms. And once the midterms are over with, he'll stop. Or the gas will be depleted, so then gas will go right back up. If not for the gas reserves being depleted, we'd be up to like $5, $6, $7 a gallon. We're trying to boycott Russian fuel and all that kind of silly stuff, right? If that's going on, then we're going to have sky high gas prices. It's going to be crazy. And not just gas prices, but also we're going to have sky high fuel, like sky high like heating costs, cooling, electricity, everything. Your whole house expenses will go up tremendously, not just your vehicle. So when they say, oh, okay, buy your Tesla to save on your bills, well, what happens when your electricity bill goes up exponentially because of what's happening with the fuel prices? And how are you going to charge your vehicle? You got a charger in your house in your garage. How are you going to charge that when your electricity prices go through the roof? You just kind of made a lateral move at best. You went from having high gas prices to having high electricity prices, or both. You might as well just have the gas so you're able to be a little bit more mobile rather than having electricity where you're pretty much stuck in one place. Okay, I'm trying to answer this, but it won't let me. Your line speaking to 201.
Hey, brother, how are you? ABL?
It's speaking to him. What's happening?
Hey, how are you, man? I'm calling from New York, bro. You were just talking about Eric Adams, you know?
You said what now?
You were talking about Eric Adams?
Yeah, Eric Adams, the mayor. Yes.
Yeah, the city is in chaos, brother. I'm a American Indian. I'm a Trump supporter. I voted for him the last 2 times, you know. But this city is not. Every time somebody who has come from other states, and they said the same thing. The city is no longer what it used to be. And I was personally involved. Like I was personally like witnessed in 2 gunshots in last 2 months. You know.
Oh wow.
Back to back. The one was just 2 weeks ago.
It's crazy. It's totally crazy.
The police is not doing anything because I was in the Upper West Side other night, and people were stealing the cars, you know. So I went to look for a cop so I can tell the cops that these guys are stealing cars, you know. So I went almost around the block, and I saw another group of people. They were robbing on the street, and I'm talking about this on the Upper West Side. This is like one of the safest neighborhoods, maybe in total North America, maybe, you know. So things are going down here, man.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot, and it's just crazy, senseless violence, and a lot of it could be solved because it could be solved if the people that were committing the violence were kept in jail. You have the very lax,
And the police, they don't do anything, you know. I had a fellow taxi driver. He was beaten almost to death, you know. And everything was on the video. Everything is on the camera, you know. And they didn't even file a police report, you know. So even the police are scared because they don't want to go after certain communities because they are afraid they will be called racist and stuff like that, you know. Even there is enough sufficient evidence. Police don't do anything, you know.
Right, exactly.
And they are already understaffed. Some of them left because of the vaccination thing, and some of them got tired of the system and they retired early, you know. So they are like a 30% short on the staff, you know. So there are more police on the other side of the river. I don't know if you've been to New York, but there are more police on the Jersey side, you know. So if I cross the tunnel and come to Jersey, there are more police in Jersey City or Union City or North Bergen, which is like the whole stretch, you know, like like pretty much like Manhattan, But there is more police on the other side, but there is less police on the Manhattan side, So it's crazy down here, man.
That's crazy. It should be the other way around because Manhattan has more people, more density, so it should be the other way around as far as the police presence. But you have the policy in New York that prevents that from happening. That's really a shame.
Exactly, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm talking to you first time. I'm a big fan. I'm listening to almost 30 years.
Well, thank you for the call and for watching. I definitely appreciate you.
And I just want to say prayers for the Florida people. They are going to hit by hurricane. I pray that all of them are safe and their homes and their belongings are safe in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for the call.
Amen. Thank you, brother. Okay. Have a blessed night and excellent work, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great call. That's very interesting. He was saying that there's more police on the other side over in Jersey than it is in Manhattan. It should be the other way around. Jersey, over there, it's a big population, but it's not like Manhattan, New York City, the density. It should be the other way around. The bigger police presence should be in Manhattan, not over in Jersey. But it's the state policy. It's the policy. It's the defund the police. It's all that kind of stuff. It's the city policy, the state policy, all that kind of stuff. You can see how who you vote for. The politicians in office make a big difference. Make a very big difference. You can see it. Call him nine. Who's speaking to 972?
This is Liddell. How you doing, brother?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Nothing much. ABL, man. Good to talk with you, man. I heard the call from gentleman from New York, and I hate to hear what's going on over there. It's kind of strange to see how it's so bad in the NY, but in New Jersey it's a little bit differently. Quick question out of curiosity: with the decline of New York City, why do the citizens continue to vote for the same people that originated this issue?
I mean, if I could tell you, I had the key to the whole world. I think they honestly, I think it's just a bunch of ignorance. They don't understand really what they're doing. They think they're doing the right thing. They can't really put two and two together. They don't understand that their voting patterns are the reason why they have so many problems. Like the Californians that go to Austin, Texas, a lot of them don't understand that if they keep voting the same way and behaving the same way, the same thing that they escaped, the same thing they fled will follow them. They don't get it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm in Texas, and so Austin is probably the worst ran. It is the worst ran city in the state of Texas. It's pretty bad down there. It's really kind of California in Austin, to be honest with you. But when I heard the young man talking about in New York, I'm just like, man, when will they begin to elect someone like a Rudy Giuliani there? Because I guess there were high hopes on Eric Adams. I knew he was kind of a wolf in sheep clothing, because what he was saying was flip flopping back and forth. I just hate to see, man, the reports, man, of crime going up. I mean, thefts are going up, and people are leaving New York City by the droves. If you're marketing for people to come back to your city, something is wrong. Something's real wrong.
Right.
Something's real wrong, man. And lastly, ABL, man, my question to you, brother, is this here concerning. I'm going to honor the brother, President Joe Biden. If people really believe that this man is in his right mind, you need help. This is not a sane man. I wonder who's running the country. It is not Joe Biden. It's people around him. And so, guys, if you guys don't think it's wise to vote in the midterms, this is probably one of the most important midterm elections probably in our lifetime. I'm 43 years old, in my lifetime, because what I'm seeing going on within the country and these cities, it's real easy to know who to vote for. It's very simple. But ABL, man, always good to talk to you, big dog.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir. I know.
All right, great call. And that'll be a wrap for me. You guys have been fantastic as always. Couldn't do it without you. I'll be back live again on Saturday, of course, right around 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So y'all check me out then. And of course, this is a podcast you're listening to right now. It'll be available in an audio only format on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description box, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Thank you to the mods for keeping them trolls in check. I appreciate you. Couldn't do it without you. Obviously, you know that. And did I get everything I wanted to get to? Oh, super chats on deck. I'm going to get to those. Then wrap it on up, put the bowl clean on top. And again, thank you for being here. Yet again, you guys are the best. Thank you to Bina, who says, the Democrat Socialists of America are on Indeed hiring for recruiters for their quote-unquote street warriors. $50,000, 3 weeks vacation, first year, full benefits, and you must have solid socialist beliefs. Now, my question would be, how are they being funded? How are they able to offer you $50,000 in a salary? So that means they're paying taxes and stuff like that too, plus 3 weeks paid vacation. Like, how are they able to offer that? Where is the money coming from? That's my question. All right. Plus full benefits, health, dental, etc. Interesting. Thank you to Anthony McQuaid, who says, it's been a pleasure being a mod for Best. Look forward to another 2 years. Thank you, ABL. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to Michael Painter, who says, would you be 6 foot tall and broke or 5 foot tall and rich? That's a good question. It depends on what I value in life. I think I'd rather be 5 foot tall and rich. You know what I mean? But being 6 foot tall, like, there's advantages to being 6 foot tall that being 5 foot tall simply cannot get you. But if you're 5 foot tall and rich, you can impact not only your life, but other lives as well in a positive way. But to be broke consistently, I mean, that's just, it's kind of a waste. I'll never be broke because I got a lot of skill. I'll be able to go out there and do something. Thank you to Bina again, who says, I'm a Florida peep, stay safe. Oh, and by the way, they're holding Ghislaine Maxwell in Tallahassee at the Federal Correctional Institution, but I digress. Interesting. I'm glad I got her in Tallahassee, not down there in Tampa or somewhere, right in the eye of the storm. Oh, we got to let her get out. She escaped. How'd she leave? Anyway, thank you to Tony Freshy, who says RP Coolio. Yes, RP Coolio. And thank you to S Ford for the peace sign, the moon sign, and the heart emoji. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. But that'll be a wrap for me. I'll be back live again Saturday. And I'm always here Monday through Saturday with pre-recorded videos right on the channel. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so right now. I'd appreciate it a lot. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.